All right. We are live, waiting on Bronson. I guess he is distributing party mud somewhere within the facilities here at our studios. Welcome, everybody, to a Baleful Hell. We are currently minus Valker, who his company, Imperial Terrain, was showcased at the Las Vegas Open for Star Wars Legion. So if you are tuning in, Valker, safe travels home. We miss you. Or at least I do. Not everybody, no. Okay. So what has happened recently? The party had been commissioned by Zira, a silver dragon, to track down an atropal, which is some type of unborn god that is, caught in limbo. This god fetus somehow is being used in order to pull in some type of souls. We're not necessarily sure what's happening, but as this is being brought to a head, the adventuring party, who is yet to come up with a name, that's how I publicly shame them for not doing their homework. But hey.
I said we have to get it in character around the fire.
Yeah, fair. There's been a lot of fires. Not as much as you guys had in Barovia, but...
not as big.
Yeah. Whole towns and people, yeah. Anyway, so they were making their way into the interior of Cholt, had picked up and dropped off some additional party members along the way, and came across the evil dragon, Tinder. Tinder had been patterning and mirroring their movements as they made their way south from Orlunga. And throughout the travel had been listening in and learning his prey as he wanted to continue his vendetta against Hugh Hackenstone. He ends up landing, toasts a brontosaurus, reminiscent of the Flintstones, had some ribs, was munching on those, and then the party initiated combat. Those that weren't affected by the dragon fear charged forth. Brontosaurus was flung back at them. And after multiple encounters with this fiery breath, the party had been pretty significantly melted down. And Zendala was able to have them move to some type of a stone circle that had been placed there, elven in build, they believe. The party, noticing that magic, the closer they got to this waygate, started acting a little bit crazy, wild, if you will. And we saw them right before getting completely toasted, waving bye to Hugh as they left him for dead in the grasps of Tinder. They disappeared and found themselves in a strange new world. Twilight enveloped the world around them. Deep indigo and purple hues pervaded the clouds, and as they started making their way out from the waygate, party members started disappearing, and they found that in getting close proximity to some of the mushrooms that dot the areas around the Feywild, you will, if you ingest or breathe in the spores, you will end up becoming unconscious. And you go into a fever dream. And so some of them start to disappear, and we're finding ways to try to fight through the toxins. And finally, the remaining party members were able to rescue them. Consolidating within the stone circle, they rested for what appeared to be an evening, although whenever they woke up, the area around them had not changed. Still dark, twilight tones all around them. And they decided to set off on a more traveled path. After heading about for what they assumed to be for a few hours, the topography of the land started changing to early spring. And within this, they started seeing a mixture of the woods that they were familiar with back in Faerun, and a mixture of these mysterious mushrooms. As they were looking about, they heard a branch snap, and that's where we're going to pick up. I need everybody to roll initiative.
Oh snap.
Yes, that is what the branch did.
I feel like I'm about to get stalked by some supernatural serial killer.
Yeah, it's the opening credits.
Yeah, in some movie that comes out around Halloween.
He just seemed like a nice guy.
All right, Bronson, what was your initiative roll?
11.
1.
Genji?
11.
12.
Laz.
6.
Volker?
4.
Sleeping on the job.
Yep. Need to roll Zendala in.
Did she get a 25?
You get a 15.
All right.
Jotun.
Yes. 15 is all.
Oh, look at that.
Very nice.
Ladies first.
Always the gentleman. All right. So as you guys are making your way down the path, you have noticed the topography change, the lighting starting to change. The grass is starting to fill in with green as if a new spring has dawned. But you notice a definite cold chill in the air. You're breathing in, smells of early springtime flowers. Trying not to inhale too deeply after the mushroom incident.
We're all wearing wet pieces of cloth
Over your face,
presently.
yeah.
And
And
nothing as far as we know. Just a shot in the dark.
We may think it's doing something.
you hear a snapping in the off to your side, and out comes
Oh, snap.
Uh-oh.
from around the corner of one of the trees
Around the corner.
a large, not what you what you know to be a troll, but something different. Spines like a stegosaurus that you've seen in the jungles of Cholt. These large armored plates come off of his shoulders down his spine. Flanking those spines are actual barbed, dripping some type of green viscous goo out the back of them. He carries in his arm what looks to be a tree uprooted with a very large, you guys would consider boulder, coming out from the tip, and large, maybe teeth, maybe claws, roughly the size of a dragon's, protrude off of that and have been lashed together with sinewy pieces of some type of makeshift leather. He comes clomping out, not trying to conceal his movements at all, and raises an elongated finger, bony, points at you with his claw, and says, "You chopped down my mushrooms!" And begins to charge at you.
Technically, we only froze your mushroom. Just saying.
Jotun, you are up first.
Not Zan.
Say again?
Not Zendala.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can have her go first. Zendala is going to attempt to dominate person. Well, let me see if it's a creature or if it has to be a
I
humanoid.
think there's a separate dominate monster spell.
I believe you are right. That is correct. She will not be doing that. She will attempt to polymorph this thing, and she calls out, "Shugs, we are going to try to get around him and see if we might be able to focus fire upon him. Wait until we are all ready before you pounce." And she goes to cast, and it is a saving throw. I click you. Oh, that's so ask. And you look at this troll lumbering towards you, these kind of gill-looking things, appendages coming off the side of its face, and they start to come down almost bubbly-looking, and you're wondering if she's melting. You would recognize the spell as polymorph. The rest of you would not. You see him start to pull in, his nose elongating out to that of a sheep, and you hear him as he's trying to fight, and you see him shake it off, and he starts lumbering forward. Jotun, what actions would you like to take?
Seeing him shake off the polymorph spell from our talented elven companion, be like, the sheer gall of it. I will cast Scorching Ray.
Okay.
At level 2.
Ooh.
So make a ranged spell attack for each ray. So it says on a hit, the target takes 2d6. Is that per ray?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's plus 6. So lowest is a 10.
10 does not hit.
18.
Hits.
And 22.
Hits. So, not exactly the fastest moving quarry that you've come across, very large in size. Doesn't really have much in the way of thick armor on it, so you're able to come in with out of the 3 rays, pummel into its chest. How much damage?
12 damage.
12 damage.
And then I'll take my movement here. 3. I'll take one more. That'll be.
And from behind these trees, you hear a clopping sound, and a centaur, spear drawn, is currently galloping towards you as you have removed yourself from the safety of the group. He comes riding up, clomping across the road at you, and goes to throw a net to capture you. Let me pull up his stats. That is a 19.
That hits.
All right, so you are now currently restrained,
Okay.
and can choose if you care to make a strength saving throw, or a strength check rather, to rip yourself free.
Okay.
So he comes riding forth,
Oh, jeez.
throws it on, and you are prone as well, with a net wrapped around you.
This is going great.
One second. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
So, a giant booger-covered lizard man wielding a tree burst out of the forest and said, "You broke my mushrooms!" And then a fucking centaur netted you as soon as you fireballed the slimy guy. Okay, that's a problem. As far as I can tell, every turn a new race of creatures just going to and do something bad. This is awful.
And you notice that wrapped around the net as it closes is a rope that pulls up towards the centaur.
Oh, so it's like a capture net type thing?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna run off with you, yeah, this is bad.
All right.
And that's cool.
Save me.
Oh, no. God is my witness. That man is broken.
That man has been broken in half. All right, so the troll starts to move forward and will walk right up to Zendala, if somebody wouldn't mind moving him up there. And looks down at her and says, "Oh, you puny knife here, you will pay," and goes to make a attack. And the first one is a bite.
speak common in the Feywild as well, so we can tell what he's mad at.
Very expressive enemies here. So you see him reach around, and as the tree trunk is brought up and around, your eyes go to that, and you see him reach down, and he bites into her shoulder, down onto the collarbone, and she takes 7 piercing damage as the teeth, rend down into her flesh. Dude, this is so much easier. So, DMs out there. Pro tip for you right now. Improved Initiative is a Patreon that I would highly recommend you guys go in and take a look at. It's what we're currently going to be switching between the action cam and the initiative cam. That is going down. What are we pointing at?
We're pointing at the logo.
Oh, yeah, right down there.
Initiative.
Oh, there we go.
I was like, dude,
whoa. Good touch, bad touch is coming out.
It's all the way.
What the hell's happening over here? Yeah. And so what I really like about it, you can load in your party members, have all their stats right there, instead of, for me, having to go through D&D Beyond and pull up everybody's sheet individually. You have everything locally right there, and it's a great way to go pop through. They've got sample monsters from the monster manual. You can make your own, which the Feywild we have different variants on. So a really big fan of this product. And this is our first time. We were, if you caught the stream where we were doing the craft night, that's whenever we first discovered it. This is the first time using it in combat. Extremely intuitive. All right, so he bites down on her, and you just hear this unholy scream, and then you look down at her shoulder, and almost with the pulsating movement of her heartbeat, blackness starts going through her chest, and she makes a Constitution saving throw.
That's real bad. It's turned into an X-Files episode.
Natural 20.
Whoa! Take your green goo out of here.
I think I'll have some green goo myself.
So here on Red Check Production, when we roll a natural 20 or a natural 1, we are treated with a beverage. The natural 20 is typically a better tasting beverage, and the natural 1 is typically a
Cough syrup.
cough syrup.
Yeah. No, it's not cough syrup.
Don't give away the secret.
It's cough syrup.
It's a family recipe.
Been handed down for generations.
For generations.
So found in the jungles of Cholt, Gut Rub's Gut Rot. This particular vintage was done in 1489 Drow Reckoning. The tagline, made of goblins for goblins by Gut Rub.
Of goblins.
It's. I'm pretty sure it's like Midori and Mountain Dew and sadness.
It's a real goblin, so you know it's good.
Yeah.
It's what the plants crave.
It's got what plants crave.
Thank you. Green guys.
No. Thank you.
Genji, you're back.
Also, Tim's not drinking because he has a mask on. Do you want to try some of this stout first?
It's quite good.
St. Elmo Brewery. Their limited release whiskey
That's pretty
barrel aged.
tasty.
Yeah. Serious.
There.
All right. Sorry for that little
Drink
interlude
break.
there. But you see her start to flex back, and she whispers to herself, and you start to see that blackness stop and recede a small amount. But the wound is still oozing a Alka-Seltzer-like pus and foam from it. He then reaches and comes down with his attack with the tree limb on her, and that is 16, and that hits her. Shit. She only has an AC of 13. More accurate to how she's dressed on the mini with silks rather than anything else. And she takes 11 points of bludgeoning damage as the tree limb or tree trunk comes down and pops her pretty royally. That's the end of the troll's turn. Genji.
Alright, so I will rage. Ancestors will watch over me. But I! And then, actually, I don't have to do it. I can just back right there. All right.
Not much of a charge into combat. I'm
not
now.
One step forward.
The angriest turn.
So that's an 8 and a 20 to hit.
The 20 hits.
13 damage.
13.
All right.
And can we put a marker on him for the Ancestral Guardians? As Genji's blade cuts down into it, you see what looks almost like smoke rising out of the wound, and it materializes into small versions of Genji's armored form as you see it start pulling him down, almost trying to retrieve him and yank him into hell. So he is, if I'm not mistaken, disadvantage terraforming as we move trees for camera angles. Michael Bay flies over, that tree explodes. I've got the perfect shot now.
It spins in the air.
Yeah.
But the camera's too close and you can't make it out really. I hate Transformers. Is what I'm saying.
And so he is disadvantage on any attacks unless it's you. And then any damage he does to other people is reduced in half if it's not damage against you.
Correct.
That's so good.
That's pretty powerful stuff. Any other movement or bonus act? No, you bonus action
can't
raged.
see that.
Okay. Bronson Ball.
I'm hitting him twice. Let's get in there. I'm going to charge all the way over to him. Oh, wait. He's right next to me.
Nice.
Yeah, so Bronson looks over and sees, the jaws come down and, like, his crush, his lady love, get bit, but watches her fight it off. And he looks over at him and sees all of the gross goo coming off of him, and he goes, "This is not a problem for us," and smashes him in the face twice. All the gold dice will be the shatter spike. So we'll do 18 to hit on that one. Uh-oh! And a natural 1 on the other.
Oh! Well, let's start you with the poop deck.
So we're gonna do 7, 12, 17 damage with the shatter spike.
Yep, this is another delicious...
Which is a magical weapon if it's relevant.
This is magical.
No, this is a poison damage, if anything. So that's that for Bronson's turn. He's gonna
damage on that again, I apologize.
let's see, it was 7, 12, 17. Yeah, 17 damage. Yeah.
Nice. And so you see a pretty healthy rage that comes out of Bronson, making you think almost of Genji, who is the saltiest, angriest individual, especially whenever it comes into group combat situations.
in Royale type battle situations.
Yes. Which thankfully your squad here is outnumbering the enemy and apparently maybe winning. It's pretty rough, but you see that the troll is starting to look hurt. He's taken some pretty significant shots so far. Let's see. Next up, any other bonus actions or anything, Bronson?
That's it from him.
All right, from the opposite side,
Oh, that dice is retired.
you see a red-haired centaur
Come on!
that pops out and gallops up and throws a net at Glaz.
That's bad. That's real bad.
That'd be a 14. 18 to you?
In response, you played too much magic.
As
With the net attack on the stack.
a reaction, Valkyr, seeing the centaur pull back to throw the net, points his hand up at the centaur and goes, "I'm Valkyr," and casts Cutting Words.
Oh, nice.
So take a d6. And take 6 from that.
Dang! MVP.
Man, Valkyr's great when
And
he's
so,
not Dave.
hearing common spoken in the Feywild is not uncommon, but hearing it spoken in such a otherworldly tone, the Fey are at mortal odds with Shadowfell, which is kind of its counter realm within the different realms of creation. And so, hearing him when this guttural, almost demonic sound say that, she rears up and the net lands in between Glaz and Genji, and she spends her bonus action reeling that net back, readying for another attack. That's the end of her turn. Glaz.
So Glaz holds out her hand towards the centaur on the left and says, Unexpertia, and casts Spiritual Weapon as a bonus action.
Coolest mini on the planet.
Rupturing out of the ground, you see Dungmarin's hammer burst forth, grasped from the great god himself.
Wait, I have a sound for that.
Perpetual amounts of turf shooting out from the hole and just kind of floating there.
So it's going to make an attack when it comes forth. It's an 11 plus 6, 17.
17 hits.
All right, and it is 1d8 plus 3 damage, 9 damage.
Nice.
So a hefty chop.
And then for Glaz's action, she grabs her holy symbol, and she's with, fucking ambush, Dungmarin, bless me. And as she grabs her holy symbol, she fades from sight.
Oh.
And this is not something you have ever seen Glaz do.
Yeah.
She
we
has
know.
been fidgeting with some type of object as you guys have been traveling, thinking about it, focusing on it. But she's been keeping to herself, and you have no idea where she disappeared to.
With that being said, her movement, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Actually, I want to go right here. Yeah, within 5.
Okay.
So Glaz circles up around, out of sight, next to the troll.
But out of mind, we shall see.
It's only been 6 seconds. Very goldfish.
Yeah. Come on, that was good. Timestamp.
What do we pull?
6 seconds of combat and you forget what happens. That's great.
All right,
Yeah.
that's it for Glaz.
Okay, Valkyr?
So Valkyr kind of smiles to himself, quite impressed and proud of his actions in the combat so far. Don't worry, friends, I've got this in hand. And he takes a pinch of fine sand rose petals out of his component pouch, throws it in the air towards the troll, and says, "Sleep."
Bath and Body Works.
He casts sleep. So
I thought for sure you were going to say pocket sand. Come on.
5d8. Do you have any d8s I can borrow?
I've got 2 handy.
And it's 4. And he's casting it at second level, so that's an additional 2 8s. So it'll be 7d8. I'm rolling 4 now. Okay. 6 and 6 is 12. 24.
24. Nice. So you see the petals slowly swirl around as the sands start going, and the troll squints as the sand's blasting into his eyes, making him want to close, and he starts to tip down, and then eyes go wide open as he stands up, grunting and angry. As the spell effect was not powerful enough to down him.
Okay. And then with his... Is that troll in base contact with Valkyr? Okay. So Valkyr is going to, for his bonus action, point at Genji. Genji, you're inspired. And cast Bardic Inspiration, you get a d6.
Okay. Very good. Anything else?
That's it for Valkyr.
All right. Top of round 2.
It's got a lot of health, probably.
Yeah.
So, let's go ahead and do Jotun. What actions would you like to take?
I'm trying to break out of this net. So
Alright.
strength check.
Strength check?
Non-nat 20.
Yeah. So you rip free of the net and are currently laying with components of it on top of you. You see a centaur over you. What would you like to do with your movement?
Stand up, so that's half my movement.
Okay.
I think I will move towards the group here, so I think I only get 2 then. But as I'm doing so, I will touch my chest and cast Mage Armor on myself.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So now my AC is 16.
16.
I'll burn that spell slot. I did also want to ask if I happen to notice at least.
Is that an action to do?
Yes.
So you would have spent this 6 seconds ripping out of the
Oh, it was an action.
out of the net.
Okay, so then no Mage Armor.
Okay. Any bonus actions, cantrips you want to cast as a bonus?
I don't think I can.
Okay.
So if that's my turn, I did want to ask if I noticed if Zan cast a spell when she reversed the black.
Roll a disadvantaged perception check. Since you were...
He wasn't in the net yet at the time, though, right?
No, he was.
He was.
12.
12. So, you know that she reached for something, and you heard her voice saying something almost prayer-like that you hadn't heard in any of her other prayers before.
Okay.
But to know if there was a specific object or exactly what was said, you were a little bit distracted.
Okay.
All right.
I'll just yell out to the rest of the group, like, there's centaurs in the woods, so heads up.
I didn't quite understand you. Did you?
There are centaurs in the woods. So heads up, fuckers.
That's the Jotun we know and love.
That was much better.
Timestamp.
Just a montage of me this time.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
So she is going. Zendala on her turn is going to cast a shield on herself as her action. Oh wait, no, that's
Not a reaction.
That's a reaction, as it was. She's going to do invisibility on herself as well.
Ooh!
If somebody could put a ring on her.
Yep, you got it.
I like her.
Trying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Put a ring on it. And then move her back over by Jotun.
Someone should have put a ring on you, I guess.
Oh. Well.
Ouch.
She looks awesome.
So from there...
We know Bronson thinks she looks awesome.
Sorry, she looks so awesome.
But you can't see her.
Yeah, but she looks cool when she disappeared.
Yeah.
Fact.
So that's the end of her turn. The centaur pulls out a rather gnarly-looking longbow.
Sorry.
You guys are gonna get so pitted. This thing is the length of the horse portion of the centaur, and so pulls out and knocks and shoots all over Jotun with 2 attacks.
I hate it.
Non-nat 20 and a 17.
I was going to say I'll cast shield for the second one, so that'll catch it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then not knowing your AC, Valkyr, the first one, as a reaction, looks over his shoulder at the centaur and says, "Oh, I'm Valkyr!" Cutting words.
Kelly says I'm Valkyr.
Yeah.
And
It's still 19.
this guy, seeing where the first I Am Valkyr came from, knows the source, isn't intimidated in the slightest, and lets loose the 2 arrows. One sails long and actually lands through the spiritual weapon, and you see the form of it kind of dissipate and reemerge, and the other one hits you pretty square for 11 piercing damage.
Ouch.
And so that's the end of his turn. Now the troll is going to reach down and take a bite out of Genji.
At disadvantage, as an invisible force is imposed.
No, if he attacks somebody other than Genji.
I'm imposing
Oh,
disadvantage.
you are?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Disadvantage
Which
on
on fire
everything.
Sentinel.
Oh, Sentinel?
But I don't break my invisibility unless I deal damage, cast a spell, or attack.
Damn, that's good. Damn, that's good. Damn, that's real good.
Is that wrong? Troll. So much information. It's amazing. So the bite attack
Looks
is a
more
16 to hit.
I have to drink this whole thing to get my dice back.
And that is...
You gotta drink it and then spit out the dice and then see what it rolls.
7 plus
All right, here we
4
go.
is 11 piercing damage from the bite. And then roll a con saving throw, please.
I'm gonna re-roll that. Where's my inspiration?
Don't you get to add? You can have bardic inspiration too.
Yeah, that was way too low for that. 22 on the con.
Okay, so the same thing that you guys had heard, almost like a Coke can, getting squashed as the bite comes down on Genji. You start to see the same foam and pus spew forth, almost like it's a pressurized spray coming out of a can that's been punctured. You see a decent amount of the goo come out, and Genji mutters some type of Kazakura curse under his mouth. And you see, almost as soon as he says that, the spew stop. And he milks the grip on his blade and looks to make another attack. He will now come down on you with the tree limb. And so is this one also imposed at disadvantage?
I think it's just one attack. I'm double checking now, but I'm pretty sure it's just one attack. I can do that on. What was I sure you can do? I can use my. Yeah, I've already used my one reaction. Yep.
So this is a natural 20. Come here and look at it.
No, I believe you. The way you roll.
So this is 12 out of the 2d6, and we are going to be leveraging
Oh no!
some of the
Nord
tools
Games.
from Nord Games.
This is your fault.
Did you have to do it on the troll? Not a centaur. You got to pay the troll toll to get the boy soul.
That's sunny.
It's always sunny.
Yeah. Nightman.
Wow.
Oh, here we go.
So I drank my beer down, and it was sitting at the bottom on a 20. I was so upset that it wasn't a real thing. Motherfuckers. I showed it to Billy, and we both went, good for nothing.
Gotta be a good.
All right. Do you
Good
want me
on.
to draw, or would you like to draw for your critical?
Yeah, draw that
Would
shit.
you like to serve yourself your own bad fate?
All right. So Nord Games has really cool DM tools. You've got anytime a player gets punked pretty hard, blood
That's
everywhere.
the name of the deck.
Yeah.
Pumped pretty hard deck.
Players get punked.
They've got one for whenever monsters get critted, and a pretty interesting RP style for natty ones just in day-to-day life for critical failures.
Day-to-day life when you critically fail. Sounds like
Wearing my shirt again.
I was making bacon with no shirt on.
Oh, shit. So, with the bludgeoning attack that comes from this large tree limb or tree trunk, I need you to roll a d12.
10.
How did I get here? You forget the last d12 days. So the last week, you have 0 recollection.
That's amazing.
You are...
Everything with his sister and Hans?
Yes.
Oh, no!
Yes! That's what I'm telling you, man. These things are awesome.
That's insane.
Holy shit!
So you have no idea
Sunglasses.
that your sister is pregnant, let alone alive, let
gonna tell
alone the combat that you have had with your former best friend from growing up, who has betrayed your house and gone to the Jade Syndicate, Hanzo. Yeah, this is more games. I couldn't even write that. That is
amazing.
That
I'm
is.
not timestamping.
You don't remember it.
All right, so dazed and confused. Genji is staggered back, starting with 12 points. Adding in... Oh, that's not too bad.
not so
17
bad.
plus 4 is a 21. Cut that in
not so
half,
bad.
so 10. 10 bludgeoning damage on you. And you are now prone
Why am I prone?
from the crit. Dazed and confused.
So you
Or
don't,
the...
don't even remember our second undead T-Rex fight.
Yeah,
It's all
he
over.
remembers coming to Cholt though, so he'll know that we're in Cholt and that but we're not in Cholt now in the Feywild.
Genji,
Shit.
your turn.
Stand back up.
Why is the sky purple?
I mean, he'd still look up and see a big, scary thing holding a club over him.
Well, that's a natural 1.
Hold on.
Oh, no.
Reroll that. I'm gonna give that
Wait,
to him.
you don't...
No, we're
Okay.
gonna reroll it. You put those cards away!
So that's a 12
12 misses.
and 22.
Don't forget your bardic inspiration.
The 22
Oh,
hit.
okay, yeah, I can
Add
use
that
Bark
for 12.
Inspiration. No, that's a 12 hit. 16.
16 hits.
Boom.
So do that before I give you outcomes of the rolls
Yeah.
in the future, please.
That's 6, 10, 11, 23 damage across 2 attacks.
23 damage. Wow.
Woo woo!
And are you at 31 out of 50?
34.
34. So a substantial blow. I mean, you guys thought Genji was just broken in half the way he gets dropped. He stands back up, and that unholy rage that grips him makes 2 very damaging attacks against the troll. And I don't think that triggers Loathsome Limbs. Actually, it does. So I need you to roll a d20.
Oh, I love this. / I hate this. Just roll things.
16?
16. So his off arm has been severed. And a nice pile of goo. A pool of ichor collects down and is spraying out, and you hear this "ah!" as Valkyr gets a total facial of troll ichor as it sprays out, and the left arm is laying there on the ground. I don't have a marker for that. I could rip it off for his arm.
For Iker Bukaki.
Oh no.
There you go.
I'll
There
get something
go.
for you.
Get something out there. All right, Genji. Any bonus action? All right, next turn.
Oh, this is perfect.
Baranusan. Yes.
There's his
Yes. Put the thing in between Valkyr and him.
No, it's further away.
No,
I'm just kidding. Right there?
Yeah, because I mean it's a heavy limb. So
Sure.
just drop.
Cool. So Bronson is gonna swing his flag. So he's gonna, in classic Bronson fashion, he's gonna go, lads, I don't know what the problem is, you horse people. This guy's biting my girlfriend. I'm not very happy about it. You're beating the shit out of my friend over here. Everything's gone to shit. We don't know how we got here, and we really should all just try and make friends. And then waits for like 1 second, and then just starts wailing on
Before
the
you
troll
go to
afterwards.
swing, you hear a ooh after saying girlfriend. You don't know where from.
Right. Yeah, because she's invisible. Hello. Yeah, so he's gonna try and do his best to negotiate, but just has.
Give me a persuasion check.
Let's do that. Just go ahead and top me off.
That's you.
That was a natural one, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun stuff. Gold one's the Shatter Spike. Whoa.
That also does make roleplay sense as far as.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 17.
17 hits.
And oh yeah, and that next one is definitely hitting 22.
22 also hits.
Okay, and so then we've got 3. I'm gonna re-roll this one once per turn. Nope, stick with the 3. 7. 12 damage from the shatter. 8, 9, 10, 11. 15 on the other.
Wow. Jeez. So
Maxed out
roll
the
a
other
roll a d20 for the other one.
16.
16. So that other arm
Yeah.
is also severed. So no more tree branches.
Yeah.
This armless creature roaring at you guys as you're chopping it to pieces sits there in front. Any other movement?
That's it.
Okay.
Any reconciliation of the guys? We should all just try and be friends.
Yeah, I think severing a troll arm. You didn't really feel like that they were enraptured by your speech.
Sure. Yeah. The way that I like to think of it is Bronson looks at one centaur and then looks at the other, and they both just like don't give a shit at all about what he's saying, and just goes back to wailing on the troll. Cool.
Nice.
That's it.
All right.
I'm gonna have to get a chaser because this is terrifying.
Delicious. All right. So the red-headed centaur knocks her bow. Actually, no. She's going to ride over to this green. Yeah, right over there. So you get an attack of opportunity from your spiritual weapon.
Nice. That's the Team America World Police vomit.
Spiritual weapon attack of opportunity. 20.
20 hits.
6.
6 damage. All right. So now she's going to knock her bow and take 2 shots at Bronson. One is an outright miss. What's
Those
up?
shots actually come at me.
Oh yeah, for the missile. So it would be a disadvantage. Well, no,
It's
it would be the way I see it. Her shooting at him,
Yeah.
it not being disadvantaged since you're invisible for a range skill, for a range attack. So it'd be regular coming in. So one comes, you bat it away with your shield. The second one, so I guess would be against your AC then.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a 16, which doesn't hit you, does it?
No. Well, AC meter B, yeah, hits.
Okay, so it does hit.
It's alright, because I take half damage from arrows.
Oh, hey, thanks, buddy.
Not me. That was shield.
So you will take 5 that have been reduced.
Alright.
And that is the end of that centaur's turn. Glass.
Yep, so Glaz is going to...
Do you uncloak from taking damage?
It says deal damage, but I would think me taking damage would uncloak me. I mean, I'll let you make the call,
Yeah.
but it says if I cast a spell, attack, or deal damage. Other than that,
Bronson looks over his shoulder, and as an arrow's coming right at his chest, it sticks into something and blood squirts, and you hear... and he goes,
yeah, so Glaz is, I mean, you can't see this because obviously she's invisible, but she pulls some holy water out of her component pouch, sprinkles it in the air, and says, Peek! And casts Bless, and at first level, so she's going to bless Genji, Bronson, and Valkyr. We're all going to get blessed. So I'm going to bless them.
Anointed.
Valkyr. And I'm going to leave that, I'm going to take that off because I'm no longer invisible. Damn it. But Bless is a concentration spell, so I'm going to tag her with a concentration ring.
Okay.
So she's concentrating now. And you guys feel like a holy.
Holy.
And then for her bonus action, she's going to move this 5, 10, 15, 20 feet, and it's going to come in and swing.
Okay.
Yeah. Clang, clang. Glad it's a silver hammer.
13.
13 does not hit, unfortunately.
And that will be it for Glaz. She will yell out, "Kill it with fire!" And then passes her turn.
Okay. Valkyr?
Valkyr, hearing Glaz say "kill it with fire," is going to, with his action, cast Create Bonfire on
clearly
the square where the troll is standing.
Which one?
Fair. This back left one.
Okay.
So his left haunch, he's going to try to set on fire. And it's cast at will, and then anything in the space must make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, so his dex...
Don't say the result yet.
4.
He's going to go ahead and...
Wait, you can hear the result, but not whether it hits or misses.
But I know that though, so that's like him.
We'll hold it off. What's up?
I would have used it. It's because I know you're gonna say 14, but I'm gonna burn his cutting words because I was gonna do it anyways.
4.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Well, it's burned.
Yeah.
It's
No, this is not how D&D works. You hear the number, and then you decide what to do.
But
That's how it works.
it's weird though with cutting words because you're not supposed to know the result. I know the result.
Yeah, you know, but you don't know if a 14 is a save or not.
Yeah,
though, do you?
I do because it's
Oh, it's
against
spelled
DC 16. I know what he's saving against. That's why it feels weird to me for that. So you tell me, do you want me to burn the cutting
Well,
words?
what does the spell description say how you use this?
Don't worry
Let's
about
not worry about it right now.
Okay, so then he's going to cast
Fucking cheater.
Bonfire,
No.
and you are taking 12 points of fire damage.
12 of
Wait,
fire.
Lee is?
Not me.
And
in that
you-
second drawer, can you get a little flame? And that's Valkyr's action. And then for his bonus action, he is going to... Thank you. Cast... he's going to look at Genji again and say, Genji, you're still inspired. And another bardic inspiration.
You're supposed to say,
You know kung fu. And that's it for Valkyr's turn.
Okay.
Kung Fu is awful business.
and then somebody was supposed to say, show me.
Alright. So, top
Hey!
of
Thanks,
round...
I'm Batmandy, for following.
Hey, cool.
I wonder who that is.
Alright, Jotun and Zendala. Jotun, what are you doing?
So after getting free of the net, sort of shaking it off, I'm going to turn around to the centaur that was trying to net me before, make eye contact, reach out my hand, and try to imprint basically visions of Elmer's factory. So like, you
Oh!
make a terrible glue.
Nice. Nice.
Cast fear. So they gotta make a wisdom 14.
That's amazing.
That's a 19.
Okay. I think I'll use my movement here, but that'll be the end of my turn.
You guys hear that? That's the sound of Lee being offended.
You're diluting your hot
It's
face.
so good though. Hot face mixed with bubbly water is really delicious.
Actually, this is the hot face.
What's Ferda?
No,
That's
this
the
is
poop deck.
It's from Letterkenny.
Damn, you're right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And high Cole Luke squid tentacles emoji with a gun. What?
Yes.
That's continuing, guys.
Ferda.
Alrighty.
Seriously, try this. No, not kidding. Not betrayal. Promise.
Delightful. Not bad. Yeah. I was expecting death, and so as
Anything else is yeah.
Oh hey. Oh.
So Zendala,
What are you looking for? Oh.
is gonna take off.
Looks like Team Zendal is blasting off again. Oh, I have that app. I won't do that to us.
All right, and then you hear as an incidental, there's runners coming. Is what Zendala yells out.
There's runners coming.
Yep. The centaur charges forward at Jotun.
Adjacent?
Yeah.
Okay.
And will make an initial pike attack. Using its charge trait.
Not great.
For us.
Nice. For me. So that's a 17 to hit.
Shield to block it.
Okay.
So that's my reaction.
So make a strength saving throw.
16.
Okay, so you're not pushed back at all. The pike attack goes to hit, and you're able to absorb and kind of stop him in his tracks. He then makes a second attack, which is a +4, 23 to hit.
Yep.
And this is
That was gooey.
D10. But you only take 5 damage from it.
Sweet.
Piercing from the pike, I'm guessing.
Yes. So Jotun starting to bleed pretty decently from where he's at. And I want to just double check you are at 21. Is
Yep.
that accurate? All right. Then we... Next turn, Zendal's gone. So now the troll. So the two arms that are laying there on the ground, one reaches up at Genji
Oh!
and makes a claw attack.
God damn it. Disadvantage.
Okay.
My little item cards.
So a 9
No,
plus
17, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Once per turn, she just kind of like
16?
out.
Yeah, it is.
So the claw. That's 2d6. 14 cut in half to 7. And then he will reach down to bite at you.
Why is he not there?
You don't like like you.
I don't really have
Oh, these
You have
ones? I'm putting all these. Those in.
That's the one. That's the one right on top. Oh baby. Oh yes.
14 for the bite.
to hit.
Yeah,
Okay.
that misses. So he reaches down. You can see he's knocked off kilter.
Because I thought I was going to use it right.
From not having arms, and so he bites down, not as proficient as he would have for balance, and misses. His other arm, laying on the ground, reaches up to choke Valkyr.
Does that count as a separate target, or is that still him?
It's a separate target because it has to come into initiative and has a different AC.
So attacking the
It's like a creature itself.
And as a response, Valkyr's going to cast Shield
Okay.
on himself.
Okay. So that was a 13 to hit, which does not hit.
AC 20.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So that's the end of the troll round. Genji.
Alright, attacking it twice. So 10, which will miss. I'll use the Bardic Inspiration. It's still a 13. I don't know if that hits or not. And then the other one.
13 does not.
Okay. The other one was over 17.
Okay. Yeah, that hits.
Alright. 16 damage.
Woo! And he looks bloodied.
All right, D&D 4E. Good lord. What is this?
No, it's literally what it says up there.
Okay, fair.
Any bonus actions, Genji?
Oh, it is. It's using 4E shit.
Well, it's just there's different levels of damage.
Barano-san.
Oh yeah, we're hitting him twice. Gold ones are shattered.
Get him.
He yells that one more time. I tried to be nice, lads! So that is a 15.
Ah, shoot, I was blessed too, wasn't I? Damn good.
Yeah.
15 hits or no?
15 does hit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you were blessed.
So that'll be.
Totally with it.
Oh, there we go. Let's re-roll that one.
To track.
Nope, stick with the 5. 7, 12 on the first one.
12 misses.
Did you?
No, damage.
Oh, damage? Okay.
Yeah.
You're blessed as well, but
The other one's gonna miss. That's only a 11 to hit.
Plus you're blessed.
Bless.
plus
you're
D4
blessed.
on both of those
You
things.
get a D4 added. You're blessed.
Oh. I mean, it's gonna add 3.
It's a 14.
7, 14 to hit.
14 does
yeah,
not
still
hit.
misses. Cool. That's it.
Okay.
Oh, bonus action. I was trying to look up how an improvised weapon works.
So
It's
it's
just
a
plus
your strength.
So it's still plus 7 to hit.
yeah.
Strength and proficiency.
Plus.
So, plus. So I'm going to use my second action surge to go into my pack and alchemist fire.
So you would have to throw a weapon down on the ground to do that. Are you willing to do so?
Sure. I'll drop my non-shatter spike one at my feet, and then go into my pack and grab the alchemist fire, hit the button on it, slash it in his face.
Okay. Roll an attack. Since that's thrown in your base to base, I need that at disadvantage.
Is that how that works?
You're
That
making
sucks.
a
It is a
ranged
ranged attack. Okay. Cool. Well, 6 and 9.
And you're blessed.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 to hit.
15 hits.
Nice.
Okay.
Didn't work.
So he takes 1d4, 3 fire damage at the start of each of his turns.
Okay.
Splash it in his face and set him on fire.
Nice.
Cool. That's it.
Burn.
You can have that.
Okay, so I do have to have one marker behind Glass for his arm, because based upon available squares, it would have been off to the side, and it would have moved 5 not breaking melee on that. So there's an arm behind you.
You get a piece of meat.
We got a piece of meat.
Let me piece of that sausage.
All right. Powerful round from Bronson. Any other movement or anything like that?
It's this pink thing over here.
All right. So the red-headed centaur knocks 2 arrows, seeing the female that she hit before zeroes in on you and takes 2 shots. First, natural 20.
No.
Second is a 3. So I will.
3. Oh, because you rolled a natural 1 plus 2.
You rolled a natural 20.
Well, I rolled a natural 20
Oh.
for the first arrow. The second one was a just 3 without adding anything to it.
Oh,
so
boy.
The 2 arrows go. So then this is 8 plus 2. So 14 piercing damage, cut down to 7.
From narrow, yep, 7.
Yikes.
And that plugs in, and let's do a crit card for Lord Games.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty excited.
This is the worst 5-year-old birthday party I've ever been to. The pinata is always the worst part.
Especially if someone loses an arm.
That's pretty good.
Double damage. So
Back up to 14.
So you're back up to 14. And one opponent within 60 feet may make an attack of opportunity against you. Which will be the troll.
Nord Games, that's overpowered. Please rewrite your card.
But it will be a disadvantage because it's not attacking Genji, right?
Yes.
Unless it's the arm.
And I've got
Yeah, it should be the arm.
I'm
As long
going to
as
use
it's not
a
fight.
concentration saving throw.
Oh, yeah.
12.
Well, no, so that would be, since it's double damage, it would be 28. So you'd have to base it off of the overall damage, and then your ability mitigates that down to a 14. So you have to add 28 to that to maintain concentration from that arrow.
Isn't it always whatever's lower?
It is the damage that comes in,
Huh.
either 8 plus a base amount, or no, it's either a 10 or the damage itself that you have to overcome. Double check me on that.
Yeah. Thanks.
So 14.
You know, it's amazing. It's so slow.
The DC equals 10
10
or half the damage,
Half
whichever
the
is
damage.
whichever's higher.
So 14.
14. It is higher. Yep. You take damage from multiple sources. It's only one source doubled.
No, so it's that one attack, and then if there was a second attack action, you have to do it for every single round of damage that comes in. So the arm's going to make an opportunity attack from behind you.
Bless Falls, guys. Sorry.
Bless Falls.
Ah, fucking natural 1.
Worst emo band ever.
I'll get more of the
Sauce.
the poop deck, but let's.
Oh, the damn deepest one.
Oh, geez. So the sinew and connective tissues coming from the troll's arm that are in the ground. Glass steps back as this thing lunges up, and she's stomped down with enough pressure that the bone fragments have embedded into the ground. The arm is now entangled.
Like stomped it into the dirt.
That's
cool.
And is going to have to make a DC 14 dexterity or strength saving throw to free themselves.
That's fun.
While entangled, attacks made against it have advantage.
Ooh, yeah. Well, we shouldn't be wasting time hitting arms, but still. We should be kicking it into the bonfire.
All right. So that's the end of the centaur's turn.
Did the troll? The troll didn't take fire damage from that bonfire. So
It hasn't had its turn yet.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, it has that. That's right.
Oh.
No, I rolled a d6 for it.
Oh, did you?
Oh.
Yeah.
The bonfire you took D8 for
It's
the
a
bonfire.
d6 for regular bonfires.
But this
D8.
thing is D4. That's D8 and this one's D4.
Okay.
So
we'll
it takes
just add 2.
like a million more damage instead.
We'll add 2 to it. All right, Glass, go ahead.
Yep. So Glaz is going to. Yeah. Gotta do it again, huh? She is going to cast. She's going to hold her, pull some holy water, throw it into the air, and it's panique, and recast Bless on the same 3 targets. Is her action. 1, 2, 3. And then for her bonus action, her spiritual weapon is going to swing. 13.
13 does not hit.
Okay. And that will do it for Glass.
Volker.
Volker.
Volker. Because I want this to work for us. He's going to hold up his hand and throw some fine sand and rose petals into the air.
Pocket sand.
At the troll and go, pocket sand! And so he's casting it at 3rd level this time.
Okay.
And so it's 1, 2, I'm gonna get your D8.
Yeah.
So it's a base of 5d8 plus 2d8 for each level buff, so it's another 48, so it'll be 9d8 he's
Okay.
rolling. Here's 4. Oh, 16 and 5 is 21.
Oh, yeah.
Plus 10 is 31, plus 14 is 54, plus 2 is 56.
56.
56.
So you see the troll moving its nubs as it's trying to clear the sand out of its eyes, and falls prone as it is asleep.
Reaching for his eyes with the stubs. Can't quite do it. Yeah.
It's like the wide neck guy. If he had no arms, he would never be able to use his nubs to wipe his eyes.
Oops, not the one. That's him
I'm
falling.
not the one. Anything else on Volker's turn?
That was Volker's action, and then for his bonus action, he is going to do nothing. And because the thing is asleep, he's now going to backpedal.
Hide under a mushroom.
Takes an attack of opportunity from the arm on the ground.
Yep, it's fine.
That's a 16
Is that where you're
plus
moving?
7.
If that's where you're moving, you don't provoke an attack weapon.
Oh,
No, I'm still moving back. But if he hits me, it stops me from being able to move. No, that's only Sentinel. Does that,
Sentinel feat does that. So that is a 23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Oops.
It's okay.
Let me see what the... Oh, so that's 2d6, not a d10.
Hi, William / Glasgow. Hey, Luke.
6 and
Luke poop. Poop, Luke.
8. That's 12 slashing damage.
Okay. It's going to continue to backpedal.
And then goes under the mushroom and falls asleep. And starts tripping out right when we don't need him to. And then just decides to eat some dancing monkey fruit.
Yep, so Valker's off here in the trees now. And that will be his turn. Yep.
And we go to the top of the next round, and 4 individuals pop out from the woods. 4 elves.
Ooh. Oh my god, their cloaks are so cool.
Oh, these aren't painted well.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not.
You stop it.
You hear a horn blow as they pop forward. And so we will go ahead and they will go now and then get rolled into initiative.
That'll have to do. I didn't have a horn, right?
That was good. So the first one knocks an arrow and aims at Valker and yells out, "Throw down your arms," and fires 2 arrows at Valker.
Shield.
Okay. So I rolled both attacks. So we'll go ahead and say the highest for argument's sake.
Well, it's a whole
I sh-
round. Shielding lasts.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So that would be. Plus 4, so that's a 21.
21 will hit.
Oh, the beast is up. That will be 7 damage.
Okay.
And then, what's Valker's hit points at right now?
Valkyr's at 19.
19. I've forgotten to add these in. Okay. Then the second one is going to take aim at Valkyr, being the closest enemy as well. Base 2, so yeah, with his shield on, both those miss.
Yep. Those miss.
Can I get whiffing sounds from arrows? Instead of gossip fest over here?
First of all, I had already done the sound effects for those when the attacks were made.
He was just
You can be
typing.
late.
He was just typing "fuck Dave" so that we didn't have to say it out loud.
That's true.
Jeez.
That's actually true. It was gossip by definition.
2 more are going to, the next 2 arrows are going to be shot at Bronson.
The election coming class.
One's a miss. The other one,
It's not a choice.
It's just gotta happen.
It happens.
18 plus 4 is a 22.
That's definitely a hit. Yeah.
It's not a choice?
It's not a choice. It's a shield of missile attraction.
Wow. Sure there's not a May in the,
Nope.
Mitigated 6
errata?
damage.
Alright. So I will make a con saving throw. 7.
So
Gotta
Bless
roll
is
more
dropped.
ones.
Shit was delicious.
What happened?
Failed another concentration saving throw.
Oh, right.
So I've wasted 2 rounds casting spells that did absolutely fucking nothing.
It's alright though.
Fornicating nothing.
Fornicating nothing.
And then the one next to him is going to take 2 more shots. And he has more of a booming voice and says, "Throw down your arms or we will fire yet again." And 2 more arrows come shooting in.
Wait, so throw down your arms or we will fire.
Netty 1.
Howdy, Cole.
Which one? Which one?
Valkyr will reply, "The troll's arms are already on the ground."
That's good.
That is really good. All
I like
right.
that you gave the quip to Valkyr.
Yeah, so this one is just an awkward one. The attack alerts the target to your presence. So you guys know that there are 4 beefy-looking cloaked elves firing at you.
Yeah.
So those 2 miss. So then we go to the top of the round. Jotun.
So hearing the elves yell out from the woods, I'm going to hold my turn, but I'm going to cast Frostbite on this guy if he does go ahead and attack me.
Okay, as a reaction, you would.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you would use your action. Use your reaction for it. Yeah.
For the action.
No, it's a readied action, so
Yeah.
you would go as soon as
holding
the
there,
event.
like
As soon as that criteria
yeah.
takes place. All right. Zendala, you hear a voice up in the air over you guys, and she says, "Are we listening to what they say, or are we attacking?"
We can't speak out of turn, though, right?
Yeah, he can't. As an incident.
I think it depends on what that troll does. If the troll
Guys
stops attacking, I'll stop
guys
attacking
could
it.
yell out to that. The fucking troll's got to die, but I don't have any anger at these elves.
You could stop attacking us first. Like yelling at the elves.
So Bronson already dropped one of his flails, right? So he'll throw the other one down on top of the other flail and be like,
I told you we should all be friends. We got teleported here. This big lad started biting my girlfriend. I mean, Zendala. It smells disgusting cooking over
That's
here.
for the Volker.
Oh,
comment.
thanks.
Yeah, that was good.
yeah, so he's going to throw down his other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So nothing out of Zendala. The centaur points his pike into your chest and says, "On your knees."
So I'll look around and hesitantly lower my hands and do as he says.
Okay. The troll takes a D8 and D4 fire
He
damage.
sits up and goes, oh,
Has no arms to do that.
oh no! Wait, does he roll?
Well, he's rolling damage right now.
Right into that one.
That was that was pretty good.
Yeah, so the troll is on death's doorstep and is screaming as he's on fire, and will use his movement to stand.
Timestamp. Does he roll? He's rolling for damage right now. That was my favorite. So good.
All right.
Do we have a timestamp flag? Timestamp. Look for this in
Tim's
the.
tracking him for us.
Yeah.
He said he wasn't earlier.
It's not true. He said I wasn't time stamping that one.
He didn't like that one thing. He was like,
So the
Conscientious objector, is that the right term?
the arm that's on the ground is going to crawl 10 feet to go on the backside of the spiritual weapon.
Just point at it menacingly.
that's good.
Well, it's like the thing on Adam's Family. You could tell whenever he was a little bit peeved.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it didn't. It's not attacking.
It's as far as you know at this moment, no.
Okay.
Genji.
All right, I'm not going to sheath my weapon yet, but I'm also not going to attack, so the rage will drop.
Okay. Any bonus actions?
No.
Bronson? You were disarmed watching a troll burn in front of you.
So Bronson just threw down the other flail, told him we should have made friends, and so he's gonna. So I suppose mechanics wise, he's gonna take the disengage action and take a step back away from the troll and be like,
Lads, I put down my flails. You gotta take care of this big fucker over here, though, and if these guys are your friends, you gotta tell them to stop fucking throwing spears and nets at people.
and he's just gonna take one step back.
Okay. Alright. The other centaur knocks an arrow and just has it ready. Glass.
Glaz is gonna yell out, "Is this troll a friend of yours?" Towards these elves.
And Bronson says, technically friends. I mean, he's in 3 parts right now.
Dismemberment using the corpses. It's a soft spot for him. So you've got the one who looks to be, it's the one with the hood on, looks to be the head of the party. And so we'll go ahead and drop you guys out of initiative. Walks forth and points at the rest of them and says, bind them.
And in the darkness.
And as you say in the darkness to yourself, a hood's placed over your head. And he looks out and says, you must know that you have trespassed and defiled one of our way gates by murdering the mushroom fauna that live there. We shall bring you forth for judgment.
What mushroom form?
Fauna.
What?
Just killing the mushrooms.
Mushroom
Flora?
fauna?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
So
you
they're
said farmer.
they're
Kill anybody.
Killed, you never ate any gorillas? Except for Red Dawn, by the way.
So you guys, unless you protest, have your arms bound behind your back and a rope tied from the bindings on your wrists up around your neck. And then those are connected in a line.
Oh, there's no way we should do that. Absolutely no way we should do that.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Well, I'm just saying that as a player. Like, I don't...
We can be judged perfectly fine without our hands bound. You have our weapons.
No, I don't have my weapon.
I've still got my hammer. Like, I have no intention of using it on you. And I mean, this thing came in and attacked us. We don't mean you any harm. We'll take the with judgment and plead our case to, the mushrooms that were poisonous. We did what we thought was right to protect ourselves. We mean you no harm.
You'll come forward. Bind them.
Not doing it.
Let them keep their arms.
Okay. Well, if we can keep our weapons, then that's fine.
And Bronson goes, all right, and then picks up his flails and stows them.
Yeah, I'll stow my warhammer. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. Do I have sleeves? I don't have sleeves. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna put a knife up my sleeves or horseshit.
Yeah.
He just takes a knife and, like, his arms all covered with troll ichor and sweat, just sticks a knife to his...
Stick a knife to the underside before we go on.
So you guys are pulled in line. One of the female centaur rides by and says, "Keep in good order. We will we'll escort you there safely. It's not within the hunt master's charge to see once you've given up any harm come to you."
Bronson leans over and goes, she looks like an escort.
Where are you taking us?
Maybe a
You will. We are going to Mithrendane, the halls of the Autumn Court.
I look in Zendala. Does she have any sign of recognition of
You don't see Zendala.
She's nowhere to be found. She's invisible.
That's right.
She didn't get busted.
That's right. Okay. Sorry, what did you say the name was? Men?
It is Mithrendane.
So, Bronson, not so slyly, so that in case Zandal is not within earshot, repeats this so that she can hear it and goes, "You're taking us to Myth and Whatton? To see who's 'em?" Like, repeats all of what they said.
It'd be nice if the lords and ladies above maybe were watching over us.
Zinfis will judge you.
Well, no, what I meant was our friend Zendal that's invisible and is watching over us.
And
he's getting to her.
they kind of look back and forth to each other, and
Uh-oh. Why would you say that?
I had to. Why?
yeah,
That doesn't make sense.
yeah, it will later.
I don't get it.
Oh God, where's it at?
Oh man. Trolls, dude. Ugh.
You did pretty good.
It's a little
for
So
the centaurs.
3 of them raise their hands up, and you hear them as they're clutching. Well, you guys wouldn't see, but you would hear them muttering something in a tongue you don't recognize. And then, as you're in this hood, It's a tight weave of cloth, so you don't really see much, but then there's this kind of golden orangish glow about all of you. And then they say, all right, drop down from up there. And Zendala has been hit by fairy fire, as all of you have. And she coasts down to the ground and presents her arms out. And you hear ropes kind of as they're being cinched around her hands. And you guys are marched off down the path. You hear them start talking about... actually, everybody roll a perception check. Let's see who hears what.
11.
23. Glasmillion 22.
21.
Valker is 16.
Yeah, so you guys, are keeping your wits about you. Admirably considering, what's transpired in the last few days. Genji, really not sure how he got here or what the hell's happened.
So good.
You continue your walk, and you're hearing them talk about battle reports. So apparently the centaurs and the trolls, or the troll, was dispatched to go out and find what had severed the connections to the mushrooms around the Waygate. And you surmise from hearing the way that they talked about it that perhaps that is the reason for the mushrooms and the spore clouds that spew forth from them, is to drop travelers that shouldn't be coming through the Waygate, such as yourselves. And so Glaz, since you have your background in nature, you would think that maybe they selectively bred the different mushroom types to get a more aggressive spore cloud.
Only the trippiest of shrooms.
Indeed.
Should we be cleaning this off?
Yeah.
This is no longer true, right?
Correct.
All right.
And so you also hear them talk about the Winter Cabal.
The Winter Cabal.
They are talking about contact reports that they've taken what refugees that they can from Spring, and Summer continues to stand opposite in the Sunfire Court. That they refuse to talk, they refuse to broach anything with the Winter Cabal. And you march for what seems like a day. So everybody make a Constitution saving throw. And this is to see if you take a level of exhaustion.
15. That a natty 20.
Con save?
Yeah.
17 for both Glaz and Valker.
Ew. Oh. 13.
Okay, yeah. Zendala has a 17, so you guys are able to make the force march at the pace. Go ahead.
I was just going during the course of the travel while she's hooded for 10 minutes of that, Glaz was going to start just saying and cast prayer of healing on her party.
Do you mean somatic?
No, I have to be able to see.
Yeah.
To be able to see.
And you have to move your hands.
No, it's
There's no
just
somatic
It's just
component.
verbal. It's just a verbal.
That's dope. Did you have that memorized? That's just weird.
What's the target?
I have to be able to see.
Do you?
Yeah, up to 6 creatures you can see.
Oh.
So the mass. Never mind. Disregard my
Okay.
That's weak.
So you guys continue forward. And go ahead.
We're marching in the same direction that we were heading.
We don't know, right? Because we're blindfolded and lost.
You can make a disadvantaged survival check to try to ascertain where you're going.
Going back toward the Shroom Haven. Shroom Circle.
7.
Yeah, you're not really sure. You know that you are marching off in a direction, but you're not exactly sure which one.
Okay.
Does the ground we're walking along feel roughly the same? Like, so for example, if you were like walking through the mountains for a little while on a dusty trail, does it feel like we're now walking through like mucky swamp or like in a different direction in that regard?
You do feel like you're gaining altitude.
Okay.
Your quads
That's
and
something.
hams are burning as you're walking up, and especially as we get later into the day. You find that as you guys are walking, that your hoods are raised up a little bit, and you're given a very sweet nectary drink. It's offered to you. It's up to you if you choose to imbibe or not.
How long has it been? Have we been marching like a day, you said?
That was perfect timing for us, like drinking or whatever. Glaz will open her mouth and imbibe the substance that his
Make a nature check.
Nature, yep. That's going to be a 5.
So you've had light wines that have been derived from some type of flower. You think maybe that this is some type of a flower here. You can't identify it, but you do feel a little bit more invigorated.
Yeah. So as I take the swallow and come in, lads, what they're offering to us, it doesn't feel like poison. It's
Your hood gets pulled back down.
Now Valkyr, wine, you say? And he kind of lifts his chin up to indicate he wants his mask lift up.
You have difficulty hearing everybody but Volker. It seems whatever cloth that this is, his voice was modulated to be able to pierce through the veil with relative ease.
Hate Valkyrie.
Yeah. Okay.
Bronson says that. Go ahead.
You guys continue forward, and you think probably about another half day, it feels like, before you were brought into a clearing.
So yeah, there's no opportunity to talk, right? Like they either offer you the drink and you take it or not.
If you care to try to mumble through the.
So yeah, Bronson is just gonna try to mumble through the hood as we're walking along, like, lads, I told you we was just trying to escape a dragon killing our friend, and we got things to do, and there's a bigger plot at hand, and like trying to like convey to them like we're probably friends. Like there's no reason that you guys should be taking us captive. There's a sickness plaguing the land.
Make a disadvantage persuasion check.
Well, all right. Damn!
Damn, Daniel.
Peanut butter and jam.
Ah, -1 to persuasion. It's a 13. I had a 17 and a 14, which is pretty fucking solid.
Array the party walking up, please.
Ooh, this is dope. From
Damn, that's
their
dope.
Table.
So coming like perpendicular to the line of the tables.
From Tim, your side, walking across the table to where Billy and Dan are at.
So like
They're
this,
about the squares.
they're being presented here. Yeah.
Oh, across this way.
Yeah.
Thirteen's not bad though.
Not good either.
I'd say it's pretty good.
Okay.
Mildly persuasive.
Yeah, more stuff.
Crates and barrels.
Barrels and crates.
I know where they shop. And then let's get you guys in a line. The squares that Bronson and Genji are in.
Oh, over there.
Kind of go horizontal to those as you guys are at the top of the steps as they walk up.
Here like this. Oh, that's right.
And your ears are pierced by the sounds of frivolity
I'm sorry, what?
as you are making your way up.
Frivolity, you know.
Is that a tree or a tree monster?
Well,
Just a tree.
it was a Zelda's tree when we needed it to be.
Should we put these in here too?
Yeah. Not actually in any of this. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Oh my god, that's the coolest. I love this setup. That's super sick. Give me more trees, goddammit!
Frivolity.
Are you Googling it? Is that what's happening? Oh my god, that is the coolest.
Frivolous nature.
Can you pass the holes of the donut, please?
Those are the ones that are made from cream cream.
Is this the cream cream?
That's the cream cream.
Stop it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Just
Glaze and cream French donuts.
This is the kind of thing you eat and you're like, being fat is good.
Yeah.
What? What does that mean?
What it means.
sort of last supper is this?
Mm-hmm.
So, can I get some kind of fun
Frivolity.
music? Some type of festival?
Mmm. Mmm.
Maybe something with a loop. Maybe they're playing the Elvis remix of Fry in the Bar.
Man, I made it all the way here.
Yeah. I even know, God.
The doctor goes, I'm not surprised.
Elvis accordions.
So you guys are.
That's what you were
The
thinking?
Elvis
Yeah.
Bebop Band.
The Elvish Weird Al has
Wow.
already made a parody.
The
You
Elvis
hear the.
Band from Sheboygan.
My system is taking a shit at an inopportune time.
There's a handle.
Mm-hmm.
There should be in one if you go to Baleful.
So are we still hooded and lined?
Yeah, so you guys are still hooded. You're hearing the clanking of glasses and toasts, folks talking to each other, the slow groan of the troll behind you as you're walking up. You hear a thunk on the ground behind you, so we need to get the troll on there as well. Have him back behind you guys, and the centaurs, add them in too, please. One's right there, the other one's on the other end. And one of the elves comes back behind you guys and just down the line pops the hood, pops the hood, pops the hood, pops the hood, pops the hood. And you guys are now all standing there as a collective party. And you see a dais in front of you. Going down and along the lines, you see an individual in a gray cloak wearing autumnal colors. The quality of his dress, he has black hair, shoulder length, very angular features to his face. You think someone who has, attractiveness that rivals that of Valkyr. You think maybe they're the same race or species, maybe, because you haven't seen this fair even in Elvenkind that you've seen in the past. But then as you look around, all the elves are very, very attractive. No blemishes, no scars, extremely good looking. You see a throne that sits behind him that has been brought in. It looks old, it looks ancient. Never mind the blood that's in the toilet. It's not a blood toilet.
Do we need a throne and we didn't have one for you?
We do. I didn't paint it, and this looks cool and kind of fits the aesthetic. As you guys you look across the line, you see a Smurf Nevlin down at the other end, and he's conversing with none other than Chaz Waggleshaft.
No!
Oh, come on.
Who is sitting there looking extremely uncomfortable, as it looks like maybe he's bound. You can't tell, but he looks relaxed, and you see somewhat of relief in his eyes as he's looking at you guys, and he's like, listen here, Sir Arthur Tillery is not something that I want to license and put into any type of a double, triple, quadruple brass membership. This is just not something I care about. But don't you understand what we can provide for you? And he's like, Rando, I don't give a shit. I don't want to have to deal with this. And he's like looking over at you guys like, fuck, this is ridiculous. Then you see...
What is happening?
I think we landed into Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
We got Salacious Crumb over here.
Yeah.
Walking down out of the corner, you see a chef
Fuck off.
who has been trained at Le Cauldron Bleu. And as he comes by, you hear what appears to be the leader here, and you've heard him referred to as Zenvis, Lord of the Harvest, say, our bodies are sluggish with goat meat. Please, bring me forth another flagon. And a very tripped out individual, no, I definitely, this is exactly what you're going to want to eat. As Mordecai, the chef gnome, comes running out and delivers something in front of him. You see that he has 2 barrels of some type of a brew that he's opening up, and yes, the purple grape mash number 3 has been uncovered and is now back in circulation. Get excited, Wizard of the Wines has returned.
When the one guy says, bring me a flagon, Valkyrie says, I'll make that too. And he kind of holds his bound hands up to receive this flagon. And I do appreciate the party that you've thrown for my arrival. I assume that's my chair over there at the back of the dais. Yes.
That's real good.
Thank you.
yes.
And
Valkyrie.
he says, I would like to hear why you find it so bothersome, your activities since arriving to chop down my forest of mushrooms. And you just left them there, not even a harvest or a tickle for them as they laid there decomposing.
Oh, actually, that's not true. In fact, I picked up a little bit of them, and I've got some vials full.
Oh, certainly. Unloose the chesty one. Bring her forth for me, for she pleases me. And
This is the guy by the throne.
Yeah, the binds are cut, and you get, instead of a nudge to your back, which you would expect, you see a nice flourish as the hand bids you to walk forth up to Zinfis.
Glaz and naive awkwardness tries to do a curtsy, but it comes more across like
How deliciously absurd!
it looks like she's wanting to take a shit, like she's just trying to do a curtsy.
Have you been wounded in your pitched battle with our troll?
In fact, yes, I was. But here's that vial of mushroom. She walks up towards the guy with the vial extended.
Who is the guy talking? They're here?
Yes, the one in the gray cloak.
Yeah, and she hands him the vial of
He just looks down at the table.
Shall I sit on the table then? And she sits him on the table.
He says, I shan't touch them. Mordecai, please come forth and purify these for all of our enjoyment. And while you're at it, bring back the chocolate icing.
What the hell is going on?
I'm so confused.
And Gladys just looks over her shoulder at the rest of the party, like, alright.
And
Don't know what to do.
you see the elves that are here. Clearly, there's a definitive line between those that are mortal, Chaz, Mordecai, Rando. These folks are not of this realm. The ones that are of the Feywild seem very curious, and they keep coming by and like smelling your hair and kind of lightly rubbing you. And one calls over, yes, bring the chamomile oils. And people are just hovering about you.
Yeah, Gladys isn't comfortable with this and starts like backpedaling to her party again. I don't know what you're about, but please don't touch
I'll
me
step
like
forward as well, but still being bound. I can't make it very far. And just say, like, my liege, thank you for blessing us with your presence. Perhaps I might be able to explain why we are here.
Oh, finally, someone with a little bit of culture. Please remove his binds, bring him up here so that we might cavort like the Eladrin of old. You know the ones that I mean.
And I'll politely chuckle, like, as if I know what's going on.
Yes!
Obviously.
All right. So your binds are cut, and
so I'll approach the bench here, and before I make it up there, I'll
and he says,
drop to one knee and make a sign of reverence.
You seem to be quite large as it comes to physical gifts. I hope that's a motif that you keep all about you.
You have a way with words, my liege, and perhaps your questions may yet be answered in their full.
Please, recant for this court here, the court of the harvest, how you came about to entering into my realm, and what you might ascertain as your purpose here.
So I guess I'll just describe the fight with Tinder. We were out searching for our friends in a different plane of existence, as far as I know. But then, as we were transported to this world, we found ourselves unfamiliar. My party went off to, try and make camp, as it were, as we did not know where we had landed. Unfortunately, they fell subject to these mushrooms that happened to happen in your world, and I had no way of else retrieving them, but it was I and I alone who destroyed these mushrooms, so if there is a punishment that must be handed out, then I alone should receive it.
Aw. And Dr. Chen goes, yes, I am Doctor. I had nothing to do with the destruction of those mushrooms. Yes.
Bronson's gonna look over his shoulder at the nearest centaur, the one next to him. Is that the female one?
The redhead's the female.
Yeah, so he's gonna go, oi, Les, and nod his head over.
She comes
She comes over,
trotting up.
and so we're still bound, right?
Talk.
Yes. So he goes, would you reach him up back there? And he's nudging at the flask on his hip.
She grabs it.
And so he goes, oh, thank God. Takes it
And
downs the entire thing and flings it over his shoulder.
Xenphis says, there shall be punishments for your transgressions. Nothing sordid, I assure you. Simply vomit ever so softly on me while I humiliate this halfling.
What?
Shall we retire to your private quarters then, or do you?
Oh no!
And he's like, yeah! This is like the worst character of like Roman decadence.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Your argument is as delectable as dipping my bottom over and over into a bath of the silkiest oils and creams. Come forth, your name, child.
They call me Jotun the Gift Aid.
Then gift my chest with your remnants. And he calls a halfling over, and
Who the fuck did you say yes to on the airplane? That this is the narrative you came up with.
Mordecai, the chocolate icing. And so Mordecai comes running up with this spoon and hot pot. And he just starts slathering over this man's bare chest chocolate icing. And he stands ready for you to retch upon him.
Do you have anything that may help me along in my quest?
Certainly. Mordecai, see that he is fed to capacity. We shall pick up our little game, large man.
Wow.
Bronson goes, Les, other side, I got another one over there.
He's like,
Oh, thank God. And he's going to offer her some, too. She doesn't want it. He goes, well, for me, then. And, like, straight up drinks the entire thing. Throws that over his shoulder, too.
And he says, you have come to us at a most fortuitous time, as the Everfrost has come in and, shall we say, frozen over the Dawn Gate. So the Winter Cabal is advancing forth into the other lands of the Feywild. We can't approach the Everfrost due to our fantastic magical nature. You mortals, in recompense for your crimes against the realm, shall quest forth for my pleasure to destroy the Everfrost. Cut them loose. It seems Jotun hates having his bonds like I hate having my nipples polished with sandpaper.
My king, my liege lord. What do you say to? What do you, Bronson? How do you? What do you say?
Refer to me as Daddy, if you like.
But Dandy is more like it.
Dandy, Daddy.
Wait, did you just use his real life couple name?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. I mean no disrespect, but we're on important business and we must return.
I apologize for nothing. It is the decision of this court.
It's just all building up to that. Fuck you.
It's just hedonism. So bad.
The chocolate icing was a good.
You're right, yeah.
Well, I'll have to tell you that we shall endeavor to get back to our world as fast as we can.
Is it true that we have a couple amongst the recently Clement pardoned party here?
Bronson hides directly behind Genji, like hides behind his shoulder plate. Goes,
We don't. No,
Just
we don't have.
whispering like cast invisibility.
We don't have a couple, but I do think that Bronson is keen on Zendala.
So Bronson leans over Genji's shoulder to Zandala and goes, sorry I made this weird.
And you just get nothing but a snicker out of her, but it is stifled as she is extremely uncomfortable. With all the eyes leering over her and the current state of her tattered clothes.
Sure.
Still modest, but not much more.
Yep.
I'll say some may say that Glaz and I have a certain connection, but it is yet to be formalized.
I am.
That's great.
I too have known unconventional love. Perhaps you and I and Mordecai could get together and compare notes, eh?
You're agreeing to everything. Yeah, okay.
Mordecai, more chocolate icing.
Sounds perfectly reasonable.
Just spooning chocolate icing over him as he speaks now.
So, perhaps then we should make haste towards this Everfrost.
I must know your party's intentions first. Grant me a champion from your ranks for a test of skill.
It's gotta be you.
What kind of skill?
I'm
What's
the
the
only one
challenge?
crowned champion, so must be me then.
Yes, the paler blue one. Is this your child? And he points over at Rando, since you guys have roughly the same skin tone. We found him skirting about, trying to find the relics to take back for coinage gain. How unpleasant.
He is not one of mine. I don't know, do I? I know Chaz.
No, none of you guys would know.
Yeah.
We know Chaz.
Yeah.
Well, it would seem that perhaps we should be introduced. Have you any items you wish to procure? I am Rando.
God damn it.
Random pleasure to meet your acquaintance. And I'll duck down and grab his little hand.
And you see Zenfis kind of rub his nipple as the large hand encapsulates the small one. Oh, yes.
We may find use for you yet. We seek many magical gifts, in fact. Perhaps it'd be better to give you a list of things that we're not looking for.
Economic opportunity, I understand. Perhaps you would be interested in a double brass membership.
No.
You must be somehow affiliated with Chaz. I think I've heard this particular.
I would not lower myself to these kinds of discounts that he speaks of. It's not a sustainable economic model for it at all. Can I get some Arthur Tillery back?
And you see a pixie that's kind of floating over his shoulder, kind of make a sudden movement. All you can really notice is there's just a light with a little bit of fluttering over it, and then you see his head shoot forward with a little bit of dust that comes off, and he's like, all right, I'll be quiet. Shit.
So Bronson's gonna take a little half a step forward and go, your chocolatey honorishness, may I have your pristine august majesty's permission to approach the bench, please?
Oh, yes, come forth. The glow off the top of your dome would be wonderful to see in the fresh morning light.
So he nods at the centaur woman next to him so as to not get stabbed by her before he walks
She
away.
cuts your bonds with a pipe.
So he's flexing his wrists as he comes up to the bench.
Oh, you are quite burly. Please approach.
And he's gonna go, Chaz, lad, what in the God's fucking name are you doing in this goddamn glowing fairyland tale place? What are you doing? How'd you get here? I thought you set up a shop in Boulders, and how are we gonna get the fuck out of here?
It was in Waterdeep.
That's what I said.
And Tillery's Trinkets was doing great. I was out celebrating a fantastic fiscal quarter. Came across a woman I wanted to climb. She was taller, a little bit shorter than the Jotun over there. Next thing I know, I woke up, and apparently to some type of rite that she has, we're engaged for marriage, and I can't fuck it.
And then every single time he starts dropping curse words, you're just seeing pixie dust. And his head goes shoot forward into the table and back up. It's like, this has really got to stop. Apparently I'm betrothed. You guys need to fucking help me.
Oh my god, this is amazing. So I will turn to the who is the chocolate covered dandy? What is his name again?
Zenfis. You can call him Daddy.
Do we have that saved? Zenfis. So he's gonna go, Lord Zenfis, thank you for having us in your
Indeed.
in your party, as it were. How do you know the wee lad Chaz Waggleshaft here?
Oh, well, it would appear that he bedded a fey creature without understanding the knowledge of fey creatures and what that entails.
Oh, unforgivable. Of course, yes. Everybody knows that's, all of the details and minutiae associated with banging a fey creature and the intrinsic, contracts that you signed up there
Bronson, just know that I do not hold people to such formal arrangements.
Oh, I bet not.
Chocolate would look quite nicely running off you.
Well, we've got to make haste, so can you tell us what the Severfrost is and how we take care of it? We need to...
Nice. I see that we have one who is not in touch with our pleasure centers. Tell me, young lady, when was the last time you had a raucous good time?
I choose my love of Dunmarin and bringing peace and ease and suffering as my warmth in the loins.
And Hudson goes, "It's been a long."
He claps. Mordecai, I trust the orgy pit has been scraped and freshly buttered. Might I invite you for convorting? Yes, your champion. Please, Jotun, you said your name is.
Indeed.
The gift. If you can extract some of Lady Daisy's alcoholic treats and imbibe in them, then I shall see fit to give you the guidance on how to create the Ward of Everfrost.
So just to clarify, like you just want me to start eating these cakes and
Drinking these drinks.
Oh, you are so dreadfully dense. I need you to please go and milk Lady Daisy. And he points behind him, and you see this tree with two very large knots coming out the front of it.
Mhm.
And
Boobs
it's
on a tree.
It's standing there.
How is that even possible? They're not mammals.
Were you sitting next to on the plane? Because in my mind, you have a Roman emperor next to the window, you're in the middle, and there's a large,
Yeah.
thick lady on the left of you, and you're like, D&D session. And you start writing.
But he's on a lot of peyote.
A lot of
Like, not even.
Yeah,
like
and then
acid
some
or
dude
mushrooms,
who was
like
like-
mescaline.
Burning opium on a bonfire in the seat behind him.
Yeah.
And the next thing, like the Cheshire Cat and Alice come kicking through this thing. I don't know
So.
what the heck is going on here.
Is there a milking pail then?
Oh, why, yes. The words just escaped it.
Oh, I
so,
get it.
Timestamp.
I didn't understand it.
I guess I'll approach the tree if no one's gonna stop me.
Okay.
So you said there's two.
This is one of the most august of all traditions within the Feywild. Please milk her gently.
Is there a specific method you might recommend?
Delicately.
Valkyr chimes up. I am Valkyr, and I've milked many a maid. It's pressure on the base with a suckling motion. Yes, indeed.
How about this? I'll grab a bowl or something or pail on the table and put it underneath the teats. And then I will.
Roll a
Good.
nature check, and this will determine your animal handling check.
All right. Ooh, I'm definitely gonna reroll that one.
There's no we about
Oh man, nature.
I'm not milking no damn
is
tree.
an 8.
So you're fumbling around there. Oh, clearly you're not the champion that we need. Is there another from your party who can suckle the teats of power?
Yes, Valkyr. I will. In fact, and Valkyr comes. He puts as he's coming up to the August King. He's like, "Your dandiness, would you be so kind?"
And he just flicks his wrist, and you see it untie and fall to the ground.
Oh, that was quite impressive. But I had them untie.
You
the whole
are
time.
yet to see anything yet, as the peasants would say.
So Valkyr vaults over the table sideways, like T.J. Hooker style, like walks up to the
Shatner.
and he touches his chest and he says, "Valkyr, you're inspired." And Bardic inspires himself, and he goes up to the tree and puts his hands on the base and does
Roll a
the
nature check.
thing that he's supposed to do.
Role play it.
Ooh. 20.
What was that?
He's milking. All right.
So,
In Valkyr's stead,
man,
What
sorry.
is that?
That's a cow being milk sound effect.
Oh, it's like the milk.
So
pail.
a
right?
dryad appears out of the tree, and so as he's pulling and milking, so go ahead and move him up there. She steps forth with her gown opened up, and you see him milking a woman in front of you, and fills a container up.
How is this possible?
With Oopsie Daisies, delectable milk sap.
We all gotta try this, right?
And Valkyr starts humming to himself.
This is too.
So Valkyr's humming to himself once he realizes it's no longer a tree, and he, makes eye contact. For I am the bard that milks the maid. For I am the bard that hopes to get laid.
That's the sound coming out of his lungs.
Yeah.
But yeah, Valkyr.
Pass it down.
No.
Valkyr's acting like this is totally normal and he's done it 1,000 times before.
He probably has.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Meanwhile, Glaz is just shaking her head.
This is the worst session of the
Are we doing it all together or individually?
Oh yeah, wait.
Oh, man.
Pass it down.
It smells like Elmer glue mixed with Malibu rum.
It is.
Pretty fucking close.
Awesome.
Oh,
Wait, did you pour yourself one? He wasn't going to. And this is how we died. Timestamp, we died at 2:12.
Wait. So now we've got yet another one.
what? There's
I am very impressed with how many D&D themed beverages you have on the table right now. I am not impressed with how little you like your friends.
Cheers.
It's pretty good.
I like it actually.
Yeah.
It's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal milk.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, basically.
Is that a horchata?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's horchata with a kick.
What I love is that this session is about Lee unveiling his poison.
So, you guys are now immune to the sleep on the mushrooms.
Oh, nice. There's a reason for this.
Do we sense that there's something imbuing us?
Thank you, Dandy Daddy.
Quite delicious, if I must say so myself.
I prefer the meat, but it's okay.
Yes, we've fed her, and you've seen like people as they've been drinking their ale go and dump it out. Like they'll go refill, go dump some out at the tree roots, and then walk off. And so that's how she
Dry
goes.
hammer.
And she goes and
Not so try it.
kind of this tree doesn't look evil as the mini does. It's just a sizable one that's there. I mean, we probably could have used one of the other ones to represent, but she's walked out from it. You see that all of her jewelry are like sticks or saplings that have been tied and woven. A very druidic feel that comes about her, and she goes and sits down next to Xanthus, and they begin cavorting, and she begins spraying down on him as he's rubbing the chocolate across his chest.
My liege, before the
Absolutely.
party gets out of hand, we'll say, is there anything else that we should know about this Everfrost?
Yes, there will be a quest that I send you upon, and you will bring me 3 items back so that we might craft the ward of Everfrost.
Is one of those a shrubbery?
A herring!
Well,
I require 3 items. A rusted dagger never exposed to air. A flower which only grows under the Feywild sun and only grows on Shadowfell soil. And I require a piece of the moon. Let us eat. Bring forth the salted pork, and just bring forth more lamb shanks. And Mordecai goes running off, and
What about the holy hand grenade? Are we bringing forth the holy hand grenade?
Antioch.
Because all we're saying is Valkyr's like just hitting on the Dryad, talking to her, telling her of all of his exploits and his #1 hit song. Maybe she's heard of it, but maybe she'd like to have a private show later.
Roll a persuasion check.
Yes. Valkyr, go.
Yes.
That's a nat 20.
Oh!
Give him that milk.
Yes. No. But yes. It's a 26. Or 24. Sorry.
Reconciled, yeah.
26. Yeah, reconciled. But yeah, it's a nat 20. Jeez. I really didn't want to roll a nat 20 there.
So she reaches under his
Kilt.
under his breeches, and you can see that she's leaned in while he's talking, and you're just seeing a very slight shoulder movement out of her.
Yeah, Valkyr is with the Dryad. Meanwhile, the rest of the party's all huddled up together, I'm assuming.
Please position yourselves accordingly.
Like at a table, right?
Yeah.
We need some shank.
Who's this fellow?
We got this.
So just
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I just want to make sure I got the 3 items right. So, a rusted dagger, never exposed to air. A flower which grows under the Feywild sun and on shadow-felled soil.
Mm-hmm.
And a piece of the moon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And you guys look over. Valkyr is very grand gestures, but leaned back in his chair as he's talking to her. You see that Zenfis is, having chocolate scraped off of him now, and folks are partaking of it, and he's giggling. You see Chaz is kind of sitting there, then his mouth opens, and you see his head shoot forward with pixie dust spraying off. You notice that there is a tiefling that is off on the side talking with Rando, and that this tiefling has some type of a cat that has been given permission to sit at the table. You see no other creatures that are allowed there.
So we're bullshit. I see all kinds of creatures.
We're all over this table now, and there's this one person here. Is it a woman or a man?
It's a man. You see him wearing wooden clogs shaped in hooves. And he is nude from the waist down, wearing a vest, and is sitting there just smiling at you guys.
if you don't mind, friend,
Put your pants on.
my name's Glass
Stand
Malin,
porky
and
piggy.
we'd like to have a private conversation. So can we have this table and you maybe go find another one? Thank you.
You see, the problem with that is I've already been enjoying this table, so just keep talking amongst yourselves.
Okay, so
I hate this game.
lads, there's another table across the
Wait, did he just try to order us out of here? I think he did. Why would you do that? Don't you want to be friends with me?
No, we're gonna go to this table over here.
Don't you want to be friends with me?
And Glass walks away towards the other table.
Zenfis, they're not being very friendly.
And Zenfis pokes his head up and says, it appears that she is more scrupled. Let us ply her with alcohols and see if that changes. The rest of the party are quite nice. Feel free to discuss, especially with that one. And he points over at Bronson.
And Bronson goes, oh, yeah, all right. And then he leans into Chaz and goes, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Chaz, what the fuck's going on around here? We gotta go right now. And I mean right now. Why do you keep getting slapped in the head by something invisible? What's up with the cursing and the pixie dust? And we gotta go. Something's wrong.
So I'll shake the hand of this unidentified fellow.
And he gives you a really just bare hug.
Yeah, let's bring it in.
And you feel it rubbing against you. He is, you think, maybe not right in the head as much.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I think everybody here is
What's your name, friend?
that shit.
Oh, they call me Pandrin the Pantsless. I'm a satyr, as you can see. Very woolly in the lower half. I have cloven feet.
Did you catch this character?
Did he just ask about my feet?
It's
yes,
a
they're hooves.
pantsless male tiefling.
No.
No. The tiefling's a complete different.
Oh, it's different? Than
Yeah,
the
you guys
satyr?
asked about the individual
the
over there.
other one. Okay, sorry. So there's a satyr and a tiefling.
Yeah, he's a satyr.
So without,
He's not the same.
I guess we're in a hub.
thinks
So I'll back him off to like a handshake and just like lead him over to where
Xenphus
is, and like, yeah, let's get a taste of this chocolate, like, you know.
And as you approach, Xenphus says, "Oh yes, Pandren, if you come here for the confectious pleasure, please enjoy some of this chocolate." And he scoops some from his underboob off, and he holds it out to you.
I'll sigh to myself and then lean in and like slowly suck it off his finger.
Do a Constitution saving throw.
And this is where you rolled a 2.
Oh no, it's okay. You don't.
So you were able to really get his gears going and turning. Oh yes, oh yes. Jotun, you shall have a place of honor. Should you please enjoy this meal with us. And he points out to any spot here at this table.
I will thank you, Malish, for the offer, but perhaps you give me a moment to confer with my group as we plan to make way for the Everfrost.
Yes, communication is key before entering into an orgy pit, as you always want to make sure that the ground rules have been laid out before you partake in such pleasures. I bid you farewell until you need more chocolate.
I'll tip my cap and then make my way back towards the table, hopefully without our friend.
Yeah.
What did Chaz say when I told him, like, we gotta get the fuck out of here?
Chaz's eyes are just kind of slowly looking at this pixie that's flying over his head.
It's a pixie.
As you've gotten closer, like further away, it just looks like kind of a glowing ball, similar to like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Navi, yeah.
Hey! Hey, listen! Yeah. Listen! Yeah. And so this thing's been floating. As you get closer, you can see that there are wings beating like a hummingbird's, just really, really rapidly. And anytime Chaz is cursing, is just whacked to the back of the head.
Are they diaphanous wings?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it would be. Butterflies.
Yeah.
But does he say anything to my, we gotta get out of here? What's your situation?
His eyes are just tracing, because she's like floating over back behind his head, and he's just kind of going back and forth looking up at that.
Why would I ever want to leave here? This place is awesome.
And Bronson goes, "Oh, understood, lad. Yeah, we'll be just hanging out because it's such a happy party with all of our friends and family. Sounds great." And then goes, like, stomping away, goes, "We gotta get the fuck out of here." And yeah, I guess I'm already over there.
Alright, so everybody make a Constitution saving throw. You haven't slept for what you feel like going on 2 days.
So 10 for Glaz, and then a natural 20 for Valkyr.
Nice.
Valkyr feels good.
Not that 20.
11.
8.
Not that 20.
8.
You take a level of exhaustion.
I don't know how to do that on D&D Beyond.
Add active conditions,
Conditions.
and then exhaustion.
Nice.
Down at the bottom, I think.
Yep.
1.
That's fun.
And so you guys are relatively alone, standing around the table within the
I move back after
autumnal
that.
court.
Tool bag is left behind.
You seem a little bit angry.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Put some pants on.
His name is Pandren the Pantsless.
Right.
Like, do you want to change your last name from... Oh, did that get muted out? Weird. God, we must have some really advanced AI.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Is this a fucking riddle? Like, a piece of the moon, a dagger that's rusted but never seen air, and then the third was
I hope so.
A flower that grows in the sun of the Feywild, but in the dirt
Shadowfell.
of the Shadowfell, yeah.
has to be a riddle.
Is there anyone?
Flower to me sounds like a person that was born in one and raised in the other.
On a piece of the moon, maybe it's like moon glass or some sort of moon blade or something. I know the elves have magical weapons, but I don't.
Feel like
A meteorite, maybe? Something that's fallen from the heavens?
heard of none of these artifacts before, and I've had the least amount of idea how to get a piece of the moon.
And as he says moon and kind of smiles, you see a lot of chocolate across one of his teeth.
That's terrible. You're the worst.
I have to imagine that if riddle or not, it has to be there's some sort of perversion associated with this. So the quicker we do,
You hear in the distance as the word perversion comes out.
the quicker we do this, the faster we get back to the service world, and we still have to find the back half of the ship. And
Are there any servants bringing things out?
Oh yeah, there's a steady flow. Although servants aren't necessarily carrying them, typically you'll have just a platter that floats by and folks take off of it what they care to eat.
Unseen servants?
I'd like to find the soberest looking person around us, basically. The most...
You look at the
Bronson's
church
got one eye open.
of Glassmoline.
Well, I'm trying to think of who to ask, because we need to get some more information about what is this Everfrost, what is this riddle about, how do we keep ourselves from...
What if we talk to Zendala to see if she's heard any stories of any of this stuff?
I mean, she's right here with
I'm
us.
literally standing right here in front of you, Sugar.
She was blocked by my mini, I couldn't see her.
Well, often I find that if you look beyond yourself, you may find that there are several people there willing to help you.
So Zan, what do you know of this riddle, of this world? What can you tell us?
I will tell you, and it seems as if your friend over there has been privy to the pains of the Feywild. This is a place that is not exactly what you think it to be. You must be very careful what you agree to and what is said around you, as there could be all kinds of misunderstandings that end up hurting you or binding you to some type of contract, as apparently it has with your friend Mr. Waggleshaft over there, with apparently a very foul tongue and a serious case of whiplash.
To that point, I mean, as he put on us a quest that will never finish, so we're indebted to him forever. I mean, we've got to get back to the service. We've got to find the demon god baby spirit thing and save Zera. Like, that's our mission. We've got to do it. Can you bamf us out of here? You brought us here. Can you get this out?
Her focus.
There was a current that I was able to partake in, but it overwhelmed the focus of my staff here. So I fear, as you saw in the last battle, that I am not able to leverage the full power of my magical abilities. I will say, and perhaps I could go and busy the fairy that seems to be so enraptured with your friend Mr. Waggleshaft, and perhaps you could cavort with him, as he would be the one with tightest alliance to us that has had the most amount of time here within this forsaken territory.
That sounds good to me.
Perhaps one of you could fetch Valka the Volga and bring him over here once, as it looks the way he is reclined, he has completed with his cavorting with that dryad. Perhaps him and I could go and busy that pixie.
As she finishes that sentence, Bronson's dumping Valkyr down from a fireman's carry into the chair next to her.
Valka, please accompany me as we go forth and meet some more of the fantastical folks that are populating this ball. And
Yes, I'm Valkyr. Gladly have more negotiations. Yes.
Leslie.
And he looks at Glass and goes, Gladly.
So the two of them go walking off over to where Chaz is at, and you see the pixie kind of float around. and they appear to be in some type of a conversation. I need a performance check or a persuasion check from Valker at advantage.
At advantage.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 30.
So there's a really good conversation that's going on. So much so that the pixie materializes into a human woman.
Ooh.
And they are now engaged in conversation. Chaz hops the table and scurries over. Oh, Jesus. Shit. Fuck. Shit.
Get it all out.
Yeah, Bronson's patting him on the back. Get it out, lad. Get it out. It's all right.
You know, whenever you're in the moment, coitus, and
He has Tourette's. Coitus.
and she's like, God, I love you. And you say it back just because otherwise it's really awkward and you're just trying to find your acorn in the forest. Oh my God, it's I'm screwed. We've got to find a way, guys, to broker me out of this. What did Zinfis say to you? This is a crazy area. Crazy.
Lad, we're charged with finding something that they call the Everfrost. And we've got a list of clues here, and he presents like what the notes that we took.
He
We're
looks
supposed
them
to
over.
find these 3 things and present them to the chocolate-covered dandy over there.
Daddy Dandy it is.
I'm not concerned with his title, merely what he is to me, which is a goddamn dandy.
So
I'm trying to keep it.
He keeps his voice low.
you got to realize that Faye cannot lie. There's a few laws to help you guys out around here. Let me hit you upside the head with some knowledge.
And he kind of shakes his head and pixie dust falls out.
Shakes his hair out and it goes everywhere.
Number 1, Faye cannot lie. However, they learn not to lie very well, so be careful what you discuss. Similarly, never lie to a Fae. They can detect it. If you break the rules, you're going to lose the protections of their hospitality. And that can get very painful. Number 3, Fae always follow bargains to the letter. Have you heard of the old children's tale, Rumple Foreskin?
Perhaps you'll indulge us.
Everybody stares at him quietly. Go on.
That's the best example of it. Worry not. Number 4, never break a bargain with the Fae. They will take from you what they feel is due. And number 5, never under any circumstances take a gift, never take any offered food, never thank a Fae. The absolute last thing you want for a Fae to think is that they're indebted to you or that you're indebted to them. So be very careful with what you do. Apparently, you've already agreed to a few things here, so I'll help you. But you guys need to help me the fuck out of this shit. I've got a shop to run. I've got a mountain to go back and conquer, and none of these bastards have demonstrated any interest in returning my aide-de-camp, Sir Arthur Tillery, to me, or being able to free me from this Fey bondage. And whenever she asked if I was into bondage, I said, yeah, of course. I mean, look at her. She's gorgeous. And if somebody asked you that, you'd say yes to anything. And now I am bound to her in marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a contract of this marriage?
I do not. However, Lord Zinfis said that there is a way for me to get out of it if I am able to produce a song or a poem that has never been... that has yet to be written.
Oh, it's off this side.
So, a song or a poem? That's it.
Well, if he sings a song or...
No, I have to present to them on paper a song or poem that has never been written.
Oh, sweet. We've got Valkyr.
Yeah, but how do you present something in writing that's never been written?
Well, it's never been written before.
If it's an illusion, it's not written down.
Valkyr could quite easily conjure up an illusion of his
Bronson kicks a little table into the forest.
Bullshit!
plops down, keeps drinking, and lights a pipe. Like,
I don't think we can. I don't think Marshall, through our martial prowess, will be able to make our way out of here. But we need to get the fuck out of here. So, you've a bit of a tongue, don't you?
Ask Zenfus.
There you go.
God damn it.
It appears that this area has been rubbing off on you, Jotun. Make sure that nobody else does.
So I think that's a really good idea, Jotun. We can have Valkyr put his famous song onto an illusion and present it to the king. And he's already in with the Dryads.
Caution. If you don't present exactly what they want, there's dire consequences.
Again, say the line again. It must be
A song or a poem that has yet to be written.
So a blank piece of paper.
It's got to be improv.
But it has yet to be written. So it has to be something new that he comes up with on the spot for an illusion.
It seems too easy of an answer, really.
And you hear a, oh, yoo-hoo, Chaz, return over here, post haste.
Ah, son of a bitch.
And he puts his head down, turns around, and starts waddling off over there.
Okay.
And with that, you guys have a conversation while I go and iterate.
It's all a bunch of fucking riddles. So we've got, to get Chaz free, we have to produce a song or a poem that has yet to be written. And to get us out of hot water, which we agreed to for some fucking reason, we have to find a piece of the moon, a rusted dagger that's never seen air, and I keep reading the third piece.
A flower that grows in the Fey sun, but it was planted in the dirt of the whatever the fuck.
The Shadowfell.
It's the fucking satyr or something. It's a person. Mm-hmm. Flower is a woman. Mm-hmm. It's a person that was born in the Shadowfell that was raised in the Feywild.
Well,
that one sounds.
Tiefling come from the Shadowfell.
Yeah, that sounds easy to me. But like the
convincing two people to make love isn't easy.
Who's gonna make love?
Well, is that not what you said?
What?
You said plant the flower with the person.
No, it's a person that was born in one place and raised in the other. That's it. That's one of the items. That
we have to present him the flower. Him the flower.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. All right.
We have to give him a dagger, a rusted dagger that's never touched air.
Yep.
So
how do we get it to him without touching air with it?
Yeah, let's say it's a rusty dagger in water. You would like just scoop up water with the dagger and bring it over. But I don't think it's that simple.
But it's never touched air.
Yeah, it would continue to not touch air.
Yeah, but it has to have been crafted underwater, and like it could never have touched air. That's what he said.
I mean, it might not be an actual dagger.
Unseen, sir.
It might be like a stalagmite or some other metal thing or something. I don't know. I don't think the flower's a flower. I don't think the dagger's a dagger. I think it's all bullshit.
Did he say a rusted iron dagger? Or
no, it said a rusted dagger.
Yeah. Rusted dagger.
It's probably not a dagger. Dagger is a metaphor for whatever it is. Or it's a fucking stupid dagger in water that technically has touched air when it was made and then put in the water.
But was it rusted before?
Aha! It wasn't a rusted dagger who's never seen air. If it was a clean dagger when put into the water and then it became a rusted dagger.
Oh, you're fucking
which
smart,
is
Genji.
really, really silly semantics, but technically fine.
I mean,
yeah.
we are talking about a
That
capricious magical creature here.
Yeah. Are you feeling okay though? Because I know you took a bit of a wallop from that troll.
What troll?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably.
And Bronson goes. It's like literally standing 15 feet away from us.
And you
I'm
see
like,
this armless troll go,
He didn't get his arms back? He left him?
No, they're down laying at his feet.
What a lazy jerk. You just put him back on. I mean, lay down on one of them and then use that one.
So we could do the dagger thing pretty easily. If we get a cup of water and a bucket of water and a dagger, we should talk to the people in the room here and see if there's your flower. But as far as a piece of the moon,
What if the moon's
Bronson's gonna go
Could you
over
eat it?
to
I know I would.
the
a mirror, maybe the moon on a mirror.
not the satyr.
or if this
But
is
the
a moon
tiefling?
that we're on.
Okay.
And is it a female tiefling?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
And go,
Milady, I hate to be a bother at this fine party. How are
Oh,
you doing this evening?
hello, how are you?
Wow. Got Watto's life
Quite,
over
quite
here.
all right. How are you?
I'm doing quite right. Have you met my kitty cat?
No. What is his or her name?
I call him Mr. Snugglebells.
Good evening, Mr. Bells. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
and Bronson's gonna offer him some of the milk from the table.
Is that all right, ma'am? If I give him a little bit of the
Oopsie daisy.
And he'll be like,
Is there any chance? Hate to be trouble and ask you personal questions. My name's Bronson, by the way.
My
Bronson
name
Ball.
is Malisar.
I'm sorry. What was it?
Malisar.
Oh, good. It starts with the word bad.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Anyway, would you? Are you from around here?
I am not. I am from outside of Waterdeep, and I came across my kitty cat, and my kitty cat began to glow whenever we came around some stones. I was trying to make my way to Thay to go and join the academy there, as I am somewhat practiced in the magical arts. My kitty cat began to glow. I went and grabbed him when we went to the center of the circle, and here I am. They tell me that this could be part of some of the Eladrin who were, during the Sundering, druids caught in their wild shape. And some of them are scattered across Faerun.
And he goes, "My word, that is interesting. Would you hold on a moment? It sounds like it might be appropriate to the plot that we've got going on.
Certainly.
Lads!" And he's gonna call him over and be like,
Oh,
"Come meet my
hello
new
there.
friend that I met here named Mal."
There are so many of you. Hello?
does anybody come over?
Yeah. But when I get over, I'll be like, still a lady friend. just saying.
It's 1490 something, and
it's
it's very PC here.
We have what? We have rights.
Because you said lads.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would say guys too.
I know, but we have rights, you know?
Lass and lass.
We can vote in some countries. We can drive the most.
This is just not.
Hi.
Bring forth the butterscotch.
We actually have butterscotch, so be careful.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm glad you're Mal.
They call me Malisar.
Hello, Melissa.
It is so nice to meet you. I have seen few dwarves in my time.
We tend to stay underground.
Yes.
We tend to lay low, get it?
My friend's funny.
He would look good with horns coming out of his head.
Yes. I think I'm doing quite all right anyway. I got nothing. I was thinking this would be the flower, but it doesn't sound like she was raised in or born in the Shadowfell.
You said you're I think my friend was saying you're quite versed in the magical arts. Have you spent much time in the Feywild?
No, I have just only recently arrived.
Oh.
Thank you for asking. What about yourselves?
3 days.
far as
Very
Yeah.
good.
Or maybe longer.
Very
We don't know.
good.
Time
Yes.
feels weird here. So we've got to do something for this dandy daddy, and I don't.
Why did that happen? It's not what we should be calling it. It's terrible.
Yes, Daddy does like to have things done to him
We
and
don't-
for him.
We don't know what
And on him.
what to do because we need to
Very
hurry
good.
and get back to where we came from. So we need a piece of the moon. Do you have a piece of the moon in your pocket?
I have no moon, no stones. I have not seen a moon here.
We were also charged with finding a flower that was planted in the Shadowfell and raised in the sun of the Fae. Do you know what that might mean?
They performed a capital punishment against the transgressor and carted him off and sent him to a grave site in the Twilight Lands.
perhaps that could be a place to go and look.
How far away are the Twilight Lands?
Oh, I don't know any distances. Where I came from, I came in, there were a circle of stones. Some of these stones had fallen over. There was moss that was growing. I want to say on the north side. Was it the north side? It was the north side of the stones. And whenever I came up, it was green everywhere and looked to be summer. But the sun was burning very hot down on me, which made me feel good to my infernal nature. And as I came walking up, there was a large pool, a lake, and a green dragon that was flying up overhead. And I was hearing whispering in my ears, and then 2 centaurs came and offered me a ride.
That's quite the adventure.
Oh yes, there was apparently an old town there that had sunk down into the version of the Underdark. The Feydark. Yes, that is what he is called.
And where did you get transported from?
I was outside of Waterdeep on my way traveling past the Sunset Mountains in order to get to Thay to join the academy and become a red wizard. As you see, it would fit my skin.
It seems you made it so far, but you made it so close, but we're yet so far from the Red Wizards, given where you are now. I'll have you know that I actually
Are you
studied
trying
at
to
the
make me
college.
sad?
No, only to explain to you that the Red Wizards is not always the answer.
Oh, very good, very good.
I had the benefit of studying at the college myself.
Oh, you studied with the Red Wizards?
I did, in fact. But in the midst
You
of
are
my
not
studies,
dressed as one. Oh, did you not pass your tests?
well, I was in the midst of taking them when I suddenly found myself actually in the where you were transported from. Actually,
I would normally call this poppycock, but being transported myself and coming here, these things do happen. They happen to me.
Mm-hmm. So perhaps we are connected somehow.
Normally, I would say that that's quite forward of you, but I see where you're coming from. Certainly. So I am just waiting. They told me once the first half of the feast has concluded, that they will take a look at my kitty cat and see if there is a way to bring back the kitty cat into its Eladrin form.
Interesting.
Did they give you a date for that?
I don't know. Time does not seem to exist here, it feels like, although I am very tired, but every single time I go to sleep, somebody draws a mustache right here on my lip.
A mustache?
Yes.
And this only happens to you?
I have not seen them ever sleep. They just drink and eat all day long.
You might have to take watch here.
I don't plan on sleeping here. We need to go.
You look over at Bronson and he's curled up snoring on the ground. I'm gonna try and sneak in and rest.
Okay. Roll a stealth check.
I'm not being stealthy about it.
Oh.
I'm just laying
You
down.
said you were going to sneak in.
I meant like time wise. Like
Welcome to the
party.
Feywild. Everything you say means something.
Damn.
And the fun has left. D&D.
That's a 7.
Okay. Yeah, you fall asleep.
It's
time for penetration.
Oh, that's a 12.
Yeah, you fall asleep.
Okay.
So Bronson, putting prone, falls asleep. Are you going to do it like right next to the table that you just kicked over? Or?
Just
right on top.
No, just off to like on the side of the clearing.
Okay. Yeah, put him in the tree line.
Yeah, right there. Perfect.
Cool.
Where?
So Bronson went to go take a nap.
Where's Bronson?
You have a 14 or a 16 passive perception, so you would have seen him sneak off to go to sleep.
15?
16. 16. Fucking Bronson. He's sleeping over the trees.
I had a lot to drink earlier.
Well, it could be that if he is very tired, he needs to sleep and have his rest.
But we gotta get. I don't trust these people. We have to get out of here.
Perhaps we can make some preparations to leave while Bronson recovers. But I agree, it would not be wise to stick around here if we can avoid it.
And as we're all sitting here talking, Valkyr has tiptoed back away and he's having drinks and eating and like just having a grand old time at the party. Like you can hear his lute. He's just hanging out, having a blast. So it's just the three of us. Genji, what do we do? What do you think?
Man of many words.
His head still hurts.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So, Yoshin, you're the champion. You've got.
Well, Chaz did mention there was a way to get him out of his contract, but he got called away before he told us what that way was. So we probably should find that out.
He said present to the king
Oh, that's right. The poem that
a
has yet
poem or song that has yet to be written.
That's right. I don't know what that means.
So we can try to do that to get Chaz free. Maybe then Chaz can help us with this quest so we can get out of here. But we've got to get to the surface. Who knows how much time has passed?
Right.
Time seems weird here.
I don't know. Like we talked about, you just hand the king a blank sheet of paper and said, yeah, it's a poem, just hadn't been written yet.
Hey, yo, Valkyr, come here. Yes, yes.
Yes, I'm Valcon. My name is Valcon.
He's pretty drunk, I would say, at this point, or whatever.
Roll a con saving throw for him.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna ask him to roleplay.
Yep, that's a 7.
Yeah, so he's wobbling back and forth a bit, rubbery legs as he approaches.
So Gladys pulls a piece of parchment out of her pack and hands it to Valkyr and says, "Hey, Valkyr, you need to take this to the Dandy Daddy, and you need to present it to him and say that it's a song that you have yet to write, and that he must now free Chaz into our care."
Okay. Does Valkyr believe that's something he needs to go do?
I don't know if he believes it's something he needs to go do, because Gladys is telling the truth.
He's gonna go along with it.
Okay.
No, this is how Inception happens.
Valkyr's like, Dandy Daddy, I enjoy talking to him. I shall do this. Yes, yes, indeed. So he grabs the paper and, King, liege, lord, astute, man, person with chocolate, I have a song that has yet to be written on this
this is butterscotch. Shall I interest you in a lick?
Ah, yes, some caramel. So Valkyr will take the piece of paper and stick it to the butterscotch in his arm and say, I now present to you a song that has yet to be written. This is a song that I shall write someday, but here it is for you. In fact, now release Chaz unto my care. Thank you. Yes, yes. Have a good day, sir. Chaz, come along. We must go. And he starts to walk away from
And you hear this as all the shoulder hair is ripped free. You've
Waxed him.
You've just waxed him. Or he waxed himself
Yeah.
off in front of everyone. This is a magical place of pleasures.
Oh my god.
And, that is quite invigorating.
You could say it has a bit of a sweet taste to it. Yes, yes.
And he looks at the sheet and says, all I see is butterscotch and hair.
That's
There's
the title
no-
of what the song shall be at some point when it is written.
So how can you present to me something in which you have not written yourself?
It is a song that has yet to be written. I was told I must present to you.
This is not a song. This is a used waxing strip. Are you from Brazil? It's a part of the Feywild.
I'm sure they've heard my songs there in Brazil, but I have not yet to arrive. Everyone knows who I am. But that's the song that I have yet to write.
I am afraid this does not complete the contract, and thus is useless outside of this wonderfully smooth area. Mordecai, come forth! I need your finest truffle oils.
Valkyr stumbles back over the table. I don't think that quite works. Back to the festivities.
And so, in slight punishment, you see a snap and a point, and you see Valker kind of grab at his throat a bit, and he kind of looks around, shakes his head, and comes walking up.
Oh no. What? He comes walking up to what? To us?
To where you guys are at.
Valker, you feeling okay?
And as he starts to say something, 2 bees come out of his mouth.
Ooh. Or not 2 bees.
Ah! That is a question.
I'm done.
Glass takes her hammer.
Starts smacking at the bees.
Smash her own head in.
That's an answer.
Once you die in the upside down.
You wake up. Glass is going to, she's going to hurt herself. What? Yeah, she's going to pinch herself. She's going to, like, take a dagger out and, like, just a tiny cut in her arm to see if it actually hurts.
Okay. Roll a d4 for damage.
2.
Plus your strength modifier.
2, 4.
4. So you take 4 points of damage, you're bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
And Zenfis looks over. Whoa! It's often the most that are repressed or the most depraved. Look at her, she cuts herself. While I do not prefer gore, I'm willing to try.
Does it hurt?
It hurts.
Okay.
And you're bleeding.
Alright. Bandage it up a little bit.
Medicine check.
It's not a dream.
It's a natty 1.
So the closest thing that you have about you is a butterscotch and a hair piece of paper that you used to seal the wound. Is there a flavor you prefer? Let's just call it the old days. Mordecai, bring forth the purple grape mash.
I'm about to pull a Bronson and curl up on the floor instead.
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either. I'm at a loss.
I
Complete
don't know
loss.
who we
I'm
talked
gonna
to
go
or
over
what
to
we
the.
researched.
Oh wait, I'm
In
sleeping.
your sleep.
You could ask them. They can't lie, but it's this.
Thanks. So King.
That is a very valid point. These
astute
people can't lie.
Majesty person. We just want to get out of here. Tell us in plain words what we need to do to pay recompense for destroying 6 mushrooms so we can leave. We've got to get back and save our friends.
You must bring forth the elements to craft the ward of the Everfrost. For if a creature such as me, who is imbued with the blood of the Fae, were to approach it, it would outright kill me. Those of you who are removed from the benefits of such a magical bloodline, sparkly and delicious, would be forced to, you would be more resistant to the cold of the Everfrost.
So is in the Everfrost a place we need to go and we'll find these
No,
elements?
Everfrost, this is what has frozen over the morning gates, and the champion of the dawn has frozen over. The winter cabal killed his mate, and so in his sadness, he has fallen into Everfrost, and it's spreading across the realms of spring.
Are you talking about the seasons changing?
No. The seasons keep in balance, you see, here in the Feywilds, as we are a reflection of what you call nature in the prime material plane.
Where is this Everfrost?
It is spreading across the realms of spring, and we must craft a way for you to be able to beat it back so that we might melt the dawn gates and bring forth the champion of the dawn.
And where do we find the fragment of demon?
I apologize, I did not understand you. Perhaps if you moved your mask aside, I might hear you better.
My friend would like to know where we can find a piece of the moon.
Oh, well, that is for you to find out and bring to me.
Okay.
And he snaps his hands, and you see a ingredients list, like a book. It looks like a really old cookbook your mom used to have. Open up and it thumbs through a few pages. You see some lewd doodles on some of the pages that he giggles at. He flips down to the corner, and it's like a guy that walks into a room, starts jacking it a bit, and then sprays, and and then he finally gets to the page. He opens it up, and it's the Ward of Everfrost, and lists the 3 components.
Can we have that page?
I fear not, for the pages leading into it are the climax of the little character in the corner, and we like to see what happens with the remnants once he leaves the page,
So-
as you see here in the corner.
Yeah, Glaz is gonna approach it, take a piece of parchment out of her pack, and start to write down the ingredients,
Okay.
like they're listed on the page, and then go back to the table. And is there anything we can glean from the information from the?
So it's exactly what was read to you.
Okay.
Can I steal a monster from you?
Yeah.
Dude, Dan's bored with this. I feel like I'm failing as a DM right
Now my
now.
character's just sleepy and it's rubbing off on me.
So you're
Better
really
be
in
careful
character.
nothing else in this party rubs off on me.
Now you're getting into the mood.
Yeah.
No.
So you guys see that you have to have
Thank you very much.
a rusted dagger, comma, never exposed to air.
Yep.
A flower, comma, which only grows under the Feywild sun and only grows on Shadowfell soil.
Oh, that is a little different than I thought it was.
A piece of the moon.
So, all right then. So my dagger that had blood on it, that I cut myself with, I'm gonna take it. Do I see like a container nearby? An empty container of any sort?
Yeah, I mean you've got the basin that had all the milk
Yep.
poured
So,
into it.
I'm gonna go
Creamy.
take that basin
Beige.
of milk, and I'm going to take my alchemy jug, and I'm gonna dispense as much salt water into the as it will hold.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna take my dagger and drop it into the basin, bring it over to the table, set it next to us, and say to the king, your dandiest daddiness, this dagger isn't currently rusted, but when it does rust, it will have never touched air and it will be rusted. Here's your first item.
And he says, "Oh, the dagger is in air right now. I understand what you are trying to go after, but you need something that has never touched air.
Air is an oxygen.
Air."
Well, air is mostly nitrogen, so that's what I'm trying to get at here.
I would wonder if perhaps you would be interested in going forth, for there is a town near the Lake of Dreams that was submerged and fell into the Feydark and sunk. And so near this Lake of Dreams, underneath its surface, perhaps you might find that which you seek.
Okay.
What's the name of the sunken town?
Razkorth.
I'm afraid in order for us to be successful, we're going to need a man with special skills, a man who seems like perhaps just a simple man with a long name, but he's got skills that we need. What I'm trying to say in plain words, your plain words, in fact, is that we need Chaz to come with us so he can help us.
I'm afraid that will not be possible until you can free him from his bonds, but that is what is required. We are bound to our words, are we not?
Very much so.
Song that is yet to be written.
And how about this moon? Is this a specific moon that we were looking for?
I just require the piece of the moon.
You mean like nighttime? Like just.
I
when
just require a piece of the moon.
So a quiet night. Everyone be quiet.
How is the word peace spelled in the book?
It is spelled Piece.
It's not a play on words. Valkyr stumbling around.
But that's high level thing.
Valkyr stumbles up to the king and leans on him and just starts making up a song on the spot about dryads and milk and oopsies and daisies and shafts that waggle while pixies fling dust. And then he kind of slurs his speech. That song's never been written by Valka, but it's now said.
It has been said, but not recorded. However, whenever you take this forth, it would not be one to fulfill the requirements of the bargain.
I'm at a loss.
You roll a insight check. Glass.
14.
Time plays funny tricks here. You may think that there's a way to take advantage of how time passes once you've learned a little bit more about how this world works.
My liege, where might we be able to find provisions and maybe do a bit of study on the area?
Oh, please tell me, what type of study do you need to do that you cannot do right here on me?
Jesus. Just more about the flora and fauna that happen to encounter this world, because we've never seen the likes of your troll friend before. He's quite...
Relcorin, come forth! And so the main guy that was leading the group that captured you, who's the Lord of the Hunt, is called forth. You get 30 minutes, what you think is about 30 minutes, to kind of sit down with him and ask questions.
Okay.
And we'll give you 2 advantage tokens for whenever you are doing nature checks.
Okay.
Ooh.
So you can ask him about the flower.
Doing all right over there?
Yeah, hot faced.
Nice.
You can ask him about that flower if he's ever seen or heard anything like that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna...
What are your plans? Shall you venture forth once your bellies and other orifices are filled?
I believe the only direction that we have so far is to the sunken city. Where
I would recommend you go to the Lake of Dreams. What need you to complete this leg of your quest?
Directions.
It is that way.
Do you have a map?
There are no maps with Pauldry. You just go where things are at.
Okay. Glad closes her eyes and clicks her heels together 3 times. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Did anything happen?
Do a religion check.
You wink out of existence.
Thanos snap.
Wild magic.
9.
Okay. What else do you guys want to do?
Ask him about this flower if he happens to know one that grows under the Feywild sun and only grows on Shadowfell soil.
Likely this is referring to sorrow lilies.
Sorrow lilies?
Are they sad?
Quite sorrowful.
Who amongst you knows about the sky and the stars and the sun and the moon and maybe some deep astral knowledge?
If you want knowledge that is deep, few go deeper than Pandren the Pantsless.
Of course. Well, so it is.
Please, shall we christen the journey for these brave mortal adventurers that go deeper off into the Feywilds I bestow upon you?
Oh no.
What? Yes.
I love it.
But wait, there's
more.
Yeah.
How is this possible?
Oh my god.
Zinvis bestows fairy fire. And the tagline is, attack your day with great advantage.
Oh my god.
Pour it up.
Board up.
This is a guy licking chocolate off the dude's finger.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
taking advice from him.
Yeah.
Also, you guys have to wake up Bronson. Like, I can't do anything until he wakes up.
Yeah. Before we head out.
When you're ready to head out.
Yeah. We need to talk to old wood shoes over there.
Old wood shoes.
Excuse me. Woodfoot.
Yes, I'm Pondrin the Pencilist.
Oh, this is bad. This is real bad.
We're on a quest to find a piece of the moon. Do you have any idea what that might mean?
It smells like turpentine.
It's orangey.
Yeah.
Is it?
Just give it a whiff.
No. that doesn't belong in your body.
Oh, but it does.
So if
Bro, you're not gonna pour yourself some?
Do I have meetings tomorrow? I'm calling you to work.
I'm calling you dead.
Seriously.
If the king, daddy, man, had said to you, I need you to get me a piece of the moon, what would you do?
Sorry. Oh, there's many things that you could do. One could just bend over and present their hindquarters as a piece of the moon. There's ways to find meteorites that may have fallen. There's magical imbued items within some of the sanctums that are around here. There's several different ways to do this. I know, I've just told him that.
Where might one of these sanctums been? Who are you fucking talking to?
Pandron, the Pencilist. Oh, yes.
That's who you are.
Indeed.
So these sanctums, where might one find one?
Where the treasures are at.
Bronson in his sleep goes, Sanctum damn near killed him. Sorry. Couldn't let that one go.
Yeah, that one's special.
It's bad.
Do you know where one might be?
Oh, man. I
it
had
milk?
had a little bit of the milk in there.
Oh, it's curdled.
And it coagulated.
Did it?
Oh yeah.
There's like a solid chunk of it.
Oh no, look at mine because it doesn't look. It looks like something that you
It's a lab.
shouldn't be drinking.
So now these two combined together is a Zenfis special.
So, Woodfoot, where might one look for these treasures then?
Well, there's several different areas that you could go to. It appears as if you're already going to the Lake of Dreams. I have given a crown to Lady Zendala, and that should help you with the water breathing as you go and explore. There may be treasures there.
Okay, and one of these treasures might be imbued with the moon.
Very possibly, yes. I can verify.
Like, if we bring it back, you can look at it and tell us?
Certainly, yes.
Okay.
I will not be going with you. I seem to catch cold easy now.
Yeah, you're not wearing any pants.
Well, I'm a satyr. We're very furry, so...
And it's just bear skin.
I want to medicine, like, is he sick?
Roll it.
That was a 20 or first. 12.
So you see an individual who you've seen like enchanters and stuff that handle a lot of really powerful objects and are constantly messing with it. It's like a drug to them.
Yeah.
Looks a little bit strung out and maybe somewhat schizophrenic from just enchanting a lot of powerful shit over centuries and centuries and centuries.
I like that.
Oh. I might need to have a conversation with this guy.
Do it.
Not right now. I'll do it when we get back.
Do something.
We have to finish the time. No, well, it's about something personal that I would like him to do, maybe for me, potentially. Cool, don't do it like that. You crazy weirdo.
So,
What is wrong with me? Oh, never in my entire life have I seen anything this crazy! My head hurts!
my whole body hurts. Vodka, go wake up Bronson. We gotta head out. I think we're going to the Lake of Dreams because it appears that 2 of the 3 things we need are there. So Vodka comes over to you and
He gently caresses the back of your head with the back of his hand, and he whispers in your ear, "I am Valkyr."
I'm gonna put him in a wrist lock and fling him over my head.
And Valkyr's like, no, chocolate.
So when you fling him
We're
over,
gonna grab his thumb and twist it so he goes flying over him.
yep, and Valkyr's gonna try to land as eloquently as possible. In like a yeah. Also.
No, he lands.
He
and
lands
goes,
eloquently?
Yes.
He goes indubitably. Yeah.
He's gonna,
Oh, I am Valkyr.
he rolls a 7 for acrobatics.
Nice.
So
He does a perfect cartwheel.
you
onto
see his
back.
feet and his legs bent like he's waiting for the ground to come, and it never does. And he just as he hits it against his back, the air comes out of him.
And Bronson puts his hand on his face to get up. Just pushes on his head as he gets off.
So Zinfis calls out, before we get to course 9,751, which will mark the quarter way through this festival,
Oh my god.
it appears that some of our party within this midst are going to venture forth, imbued with my essence in their mouths, and now going coursing into their tummies, drinking my patented fairy fire. They shall go, but first we must bid them rest. And he snaps his finger and a tent pops up. Your rest quarters, please enjoy your rest. Bronson, I see that you are quite famished and tired. I could help you relax if you needed to sleep here.
I mean, I just caught a nap in the bushes over there. I'll be all right. I'm fine.
Oh,
I'm doing all right.
yes.
I'm good. I don't need anything from you, but thank you. I appreciate it.
A nap in the hand is worth one in the bush, I've been told.
I think we'll be fine with our bedrolls just right here on the floor. I don't think we need your tent, but thank you for your.
Certainly, if you choose not to sleep in the tent. Many of us like to look upon nature about us, as we will be looking upon you as you slumber.
What's in the can we see in the tent from here?
From where you're at, roll a perception check.
I've been meaning to make a tent mini.
21.
So you look in and you see lavishly appointed red lanterns on the
Remember
inside, and it's just wall-to-wall pillows laying about.
I wonder what we're obligating ourselves by availing of his hospitality. Though.
Yeah, that's. And I'll whisper to Genji. Listen to what Chaz said. We can't take anything from him. So to me, we're better. I mean, the floor is fine. I mean, bedroll.
It's better to set campfire.
Yeah.
And camp as noble.
Yeah.
If we indebt ourselves to one as capricious and wiry as this dandy daddy weirdo, who knows what kind of contract we have?
I feel my jimmies being rustled.
Rustling to chilies. Come here.
You
Let
rustle
my
my
sword taste of your flesh.
You rustle my jimmies like a water-deep girl. Oh yes.
Thanks to my friends for your hospitality.
and I intentionally look at my party and not the king to imply that I'm thanking him, but I'm not actually thanking him. And we're gonna make camp.
Okay.
And rest.
And do the
Watch.
standard watch rotation.
Standard watch rotation.
Who's what watch?
I'm taking last.
Last watch is Genji. First watch, Valkyr is still quite inebriated and says, "I will take the first watch as I work on my third song." And he starts to play as we're falling asleep, and it's the same fucking song. So first watch is Valkyr, second watch is
Me.
and then
Am I even watching?
we need 4 watches. So
I mean, I can watch the whole time because I already just caught a rest.
you didn't catch long. I mean,
It hadn't been long enough for you to.
Not even a short rest? There wasn't even a short rest.
No, it was like 30 minutes.
In the Feywild? It was like 4 years.
Okay.
We're 17,000 years old right now.
Yeah. We should go back, and our daughter will be an old woman, and we will have saved the world by finding the secret to time travel in a bookcase.
Done.
In Oakland.
All right, we're all done here. This game's over.
You guys want to drink?
Thanks for
We got some
tuning in.
booze that are left over.
Yeah, so Standard Watch. Valkyr first, and then...
Yeah, I'll do it.
Shall we have another beverage?
No.
I was looking at like that. I don't see any more bottles on the floor over here.
Valkyr has a 22 for his perception.
Oh man.
For the first watch.
Man.
You're not. No. You're not serious.
I think he's extraordinarily serious.
He's gonna call him to work right
Stop looking at me. I refuse to look up and acknowledge this.
Valkyr rolled a 22 for his perception check.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
He's next.
Next watch.
10.
Okay. Next watch.
Who's third?
Bronson.
Buranusan.
Perception?
Yeah.
That will be an 11.
Okay.
Fourth. 22.
Nice.
And during my morning rituals, do I sense any sort of connection to my ancestors from where I am now? Whatsoever? Okay, it's not surprising. Okay.
All right. So, an amount of time you guys assume to be 8 hours has passed. Bronson, you're no longer exhausted.
All right.
Do we long rest then? We get credit for a long rest?
Sure.
It's not a yes.
No. Yeah, well, like every minute that we're here is actually like a month in the regular world, and Zira is a pile of bones. by
Yeah.
now.
Dust.
So, as you guys turn over, all of you but Genji, as you turn over, sand is like pouring out of your pockets. And you stand up, and there's rocks in your shoes, and you just hear giggling
Nuggets in.
from pixies that are flying.
That's pretty good.
That are flying up over you.
Guys, it's a prank.
Spaghetti comes pouring out of your pocket.
It's Mom's
And tater
spaghetti.
tots. Give me your tots, Napoleon.
Yeah, but Xanthus stands up. You see, like he's a Baskin Robbins or like a Cold Stone prep table. There are elements that you would rub all over a sundae, just covering him. And he approaches you and says, "Please find yourself to be very cautious and careful as you penetrate the outer wilds of the Feywild. As you go forth, you must use the incantations that Zendala will be concentrating on to allow you to dive into the depths. Please be cautious and do not trust what your senses present to you."
Bronson's gonna ask Lady Sandala, madam, sorry about it, really didn't mean to refer to you as my girlfriend. I didn't mean to overstep my bounds. However, what do you make of these recipes that we've been given to assemble for his foofiness over there? And how do you suppose we be getting our way out of this place?
Perhaps if you are feeling up to it, we might be the advanced party and head on down the road and enjoy some leisurely conversation as we go ahead and get out of this place.
And his mustache starts twirling slowly. He goes, sure.
So, just to be clear, it's that way. We just go that way. And we'll find
Wait,
this
who
far.
are you
The
saying
king,
this
the
to?
king, the dude man.
Xanthus.
Yeah, I don't want to say his
Oh,
name.
thank you. Yes, if you continue past...
Syphilis.
Yeah.
Take it.
If you venture forth, you must be prepared what you might run into as you continue down your path. You will be tested. Know this now, be prepared, and you shall do just fine. No more cockamamie attempts at solving riddles until you have the solution well in hand, Valka.
Yes, I am a solution to all things, for I am Valkyr. No problem has not been solved by me already.
Yes, indeed, you speak fairly.
So Valkyrie's like, well, this way then, let's go. And he starts walking in the direction that was pointed. And I guess we're going in a direction. Towards the sunken city.
Know where you start from and envision where you shall complete, and complete you shall. No!
God damn it.
So Glass will make her way to the front of the line then and think about this sunken city as it was described to us.
Zendala quits talking to you as Glass approaches, hearing the footsteps behind.
Okay. And she turns to the front and thinks of the place where we want to go, and that's what she's thinking of as she's walking in the direction that was pointed.
Okay.
I'm thinking of a sunken city that was swallowed with a rust iron dagger that's never seen air.
So we're marching off into the Feywild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brave, oh brave Sir Bronson, rode forth from the orgy pit.
Let's march on.
Marching on.
All right, give me a...
Clear this up, right?
Yeah. Give me a check, survival.
Survival check.
At advantage, because I'm assisting you.
So you walking up front, establish your order of march
Yep.
on the
Always
screen,
up front.
please.
Yeah, yeah, it's always me and Genji on point. Bronson's right behind us to flail on.
Flail on.
You're like the Human Torch, but better.
That's right.
Johnny the Human Torch.
Wait, why'd you take Jotun off?
She's clearing it.
That's it. Okay.
Because Jotun decided to stay at the party.
Yeah.
A lot of fingers
Obviously,
suck.
quite well. He took Zendala off. Put Zendala off.
Okay.
Is that Valkyr?
Wait, did I?
Valkyr's with
No.
Valkyr's out there already.
Not
Oh,
her.
wait, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, put Zendala and Valkyr in the back. And
You missing anyone? That's us.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's our order of march.
So you guys start heading off, and Zendala started to talk to you a little bit, and then hearing Glass tromping along the trail coming up behind you, kind of went silent and fell to the back, and she takes her broken staff with the broken focus and kind of taps you in the backside with it and nods back.
Okay, so I'll fall back and see what she has to say.
So you guys go about 50 feet behind
Okay.
the rest of the party, and she says, Bronson, I must say that I am quite impressed that you appear to have weathered the storm of that cotillion with your virtue intact. It is quite impressive. There seem to be quite a few people imbibing and losing themselves in the grips of lusts and pleasures. How do you find your way to not stumble into such a delectable trap?
And he goes, well, every morning I have the same breakfast. I do 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, 50 squats, 477 pull-ups, and yeah, maintain a strict regimen, and it helps me keep regular, if you know what I mean.
Yes, certainly, Bronson. I must beg you of a favor as we are going through here. Know that I am trying to the best of my ability, find some way to make my magical self whole by being able to find a replacement for my arcane focus.
Yep.
I wish not to trouble the rest of the party with my issues here, but certainly it would be quite beneficial, I think, for the collective whole of this party if we could find a new focus, as I am limited in my spellcasting abilities.
Mm-hmm. Quite right. Well, we'll be on the lookout then, because there's nothing I want more than to get the flying fuck out of here.
Certainly not necessarily in such crass language, but I do understand the...
Sorry. The airborne fornication out of here.
There you go. Can you tell me what it is about Jotun that puts him at such ease, being in such an environment? I find that my connection with the weave is while the cords around us that bind the magical energies seem to be much more powerful, I find myself diminished in the ability to be able to communicate with them. what do you know about this Jotun Aegis and where he comes from?
Well, if you're meaning to give me a quiz on the background of one of the other characters that we have traveling with us, I'm afraid I'm going to give myself maybe a D- now. Best I can tell, Jotun is a giant who was at odds with a party of wizards, and they don't like him none. And we ran into some of them, and they tried to kill all of us. And he has some background with them where he's been excommunicated, as it were. And he likes challenges and likes being the champion of things, as much as our bard over there wants to bet against him all the time and ruin that for us. That seems to be his MO. Best I can tell, that's the extent of his background that we're familiar with, and the Red Wizards of Fae don't like him none.
This is very good.
Well, I do know that he is a frost giant, so in regards to your assessment that he seems to be cool-headed, it's probably because he's pretty chill.
Your play on words is not lost on me, Bronson. I would give your D a plus and not a minus.
Boom! Give yourself an
He adjusts his britches.
Yeah.
This is something that we must be mindful of. For I do not know the Red Wizards of Fae to be a friend or an ally to us. Do you know where his loyalties ultimately lie and what his aims are?
Best I can tell, he is no longer associated with them in any capacity as far as any sort of loyalties. As far as we know, he's on our side as a result of them being after him and after the Lady Zira and the dragon that we told you about earlier that gave us the mission. We went into the jungle to kill Demon Baby and all that sort of thing. Didn't like any of those dragon people, and we got a list of people that they wanted to kill, along with our friend over here, Large Lad. So, best I can tell, since he's on the list, people that want to be killed by the people that want to kill us, we're all friends in that regard.
And what do you think we should do about the bereaved memory of Genji up there? Shall we inform him of exactly what has transpired these last few days? As I see the purpose in his strides has left him, and he seems to be less preoccupied on liberating his sister. Is this something that we should bring up, or do you fear that it will only cast a cloud into the crystal clear pools that appear to be his focus right now?
Well, milady, I'm not of the schooled sort that might be able to make these calls on what's healthiest for that gentleman's psyche, but I'll tell you this much. If it's taken us too long to get us the F out of here, then maybe we should probably explain to him what transpired and what we know. Otherwise, I figure we spend the next day or two with the sole focus of getting the hell out of this purple land and getting back on solid ground where there's no centaurs and trippy mushrooms, and then we can explain to him what happened after the leading up to the troll hitting him on the noggin.
And she gives you a kiss on the cheek and starts to walk ahead of you to join back up to the group, and over her shoulder says, it is quite impressive whenever such a blunt instrument such as yourself recognizes when best to engage or disengage from a fight. I was quite impressed watching your pride and your discretion whenever you chose to not rend that troll from existence.
I mean, he seemed like a nice lad, all things considered.
Yeah, you've got quite a few trollster friends to you back home, Bronson.
Not a one, in fact.
Oh.
But again, he's just covered in boogers and probably misunderstood.
And Bronson goes, cleans up his nose.
All right. So you guys, what was the advantaged survival check roll?
Was there one?
Roll it. I don't even think I rolled it.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it. On the table, please.
Oh.
I can't take money from you, sir. You need to put it on the table.
18.
So Bronson's gonna call out to Valker and go, "Oi, Valker, you ever think about maybe starting a band?" While we're walking along, he goes, "If you were, would you call yourselves the Fey Fighters, by any chance? Because if you did, your first single might be called Everfrost." Just saying, and then kicks him in the pants as we go by.
Valkyr says, "Well, as Valkyr being Valkyr, as I am Valkyr, I need not a band, and I am a one-man show. All across the land they have heard my songs and say they shouldn't be muted by the sounds of others. It is just me that they wanted to hear. Yes, indeed, that is me. I am amazing."
That's Valkyr for you. I still say we call ourselves the Fey Fighters. So good. Well, that's what he called us. You know, when we send these fighters off into the Fey, is what he said, and I was like, "Oh, we're the Fey Fighters. That's amazing."
Led by Dave Vole.
Vave Vole.
Oh no.
Alright, so
Oh no,
Formerly-
Dave Troll.
Dave Troll.
No, it's Vave Vole.
We just named that troll Dave. Oh my god, that's amazing.
the armless troll is now known as Dave.
Yep. Sorry, Dave.
Alright, so you guys walk for a little while. You get probably what feels like 6 to 7 hours down the road. And it is just endless veils that you continually walk through. You're finding more interesting colors, a lot of purples, a lot of pinks in some of the areas. And then you get to a very lush kind of green that's got, yellows and some hunter green, a little bit of brown in the grass. So it's very vibrant as you look out across some of these rolling hills. You continue on for a bit and you start getting into some heavier woods again. And these are tall trees with flowers growing out of them, and they have really long tongues that roll out of the bowl of the flower.
Nope.
And
Nope.
Up and pull one.
yeah. And as you guys are walking, like the tongues kind of wag towards you, and there's like a liquidy drip, and then a slight amount of powder that's kind of floating around these tongues.
Let's keep our distance with the mushrooms and we have the Dandy Daddy's special powers and mutinous, but let's not risk it. And as we're navigating Engineer, making sure to keep the party as far away from the tongues as possible.
Okay, and the tongues wag as you walk.
Did you say
past.
the tongues wag, or the wag of the tongues?
The dog is wagged.
Okay.
Yeah. So you continue down the road or the path. It starts to smell kind of like a peppered coriander. Very earthy, rooty smell. Everybody roll a perception check unless you are doing the survival for walking. So.
7.
Great tonight. Are we in combat?
I've had 2 natural ones.
23.
A lot of
23
single,
for Valkyr.
single digits.
Yeah, the combat rolls weren't great, but my non-combat rolls have been fucking amazing.
So you hear Valkyr hears a very sweet music being played ahead of you.
Is that one of my songs I hear?
Yeah, you guys gonna continue moving forward towards the music?
There is music ahead, and well, it doesn't sound like one of my songs. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it does not.
So it's probably not worth listening to, anyways. We should maybe just not. Well, I don't know. I'll just play a song now, and he starts playing a song. Do we know anything about musical enchantments or like anything
Roll
like
an
that?
arcane check.
Was there any music? Xenphys's
Yeah,
down?
there's a lot in the pleasure box.
11.
Okay.
Get underneath here.
Hey, buddy. Yeah.
Look at that cooler.
How are you?
Open.
You good?
Yeah, this is
Awesome.
It's not doing much for us.
Can you see yourself on TV over there?
Well, I That's about 1,000,000 times better.
Oh, I actually we get some airflow in here now.
Well, I mean, it's been open.
It just the
Yeah, the
blinds.
blind's blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a dog.
There's
Hi, dog.
Watching beef jerky.
Valkyrie says there's. Funny, Valkyrie said there's music ahead. I mean, do we need to go to another party? I don't think so. Should we avoid it?
We've been to enough parties before.
So it doesn't sound like the frivolous music of what you had heard before. It's more like kind of what you're hearing right now. Just a slow progression of chords. Like somebody's trying to be technically accurate in the way that they play.
Do you think it's a spell? I'm asking Vulcan.
So what was your Arcana check?
11.
An 11. So you know that there are effects out there that try to charm people. Typically, those have a range component to them, and with how far
It's
you
not
are
bad.
away, typically
It's
you
not
would
bad,
see what is
Should be fine.
playing whenever it's casting at you. And since you guys can't see, and you've got a decent eyes forward.
So let's get closer, maybe. But is it in our path where we need to go?
Yeah.
We can be cautious. We don't have to go like barreling in there.
Yeah, we'll go forward cautious, stealthily.
Okay. So we'll slow your pace down. You're being much more deliberate rather than stealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would
that's
that describe it?
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are continuing forward, moving. There's a rise that comes up on your right-hand side, and the trees open up, and there's a little bit of a clearing that you come across, and about 200 yards to your front, you see a very large hooded man standing over. Hi, sweetie. You see a very large hooded man standing over what looks like maybe a body.
Is that where the sound's coming from? Is him?
And
200 yards?
You hear the music further up.
Beyond him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty far still.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Zandala, milady, what do you make of this?
Well, I suppose if one of you cares to venture closer, I could make one of you invisible.
No need to worry. Trouble yourself, lady friend. And Glaz grabs her her holy symbol of Dunbarn and says, "Dunbarn, guide me." And she disappears.
Bamf.
And then you.
Bronson goes, "Oh yeah, I've been meaning to ask you about that. What the hell?"
So I'm gonna start creeping forward ahead of the party.
All right, you can explain later. That's fine. As I see the footprints like leaving.
Yeah, Frodo's. You see Frodo. Yeah. So I'm gonna move ahead of the party and get close enough to where I can discern
Stealth
what this
check
person
at
looks
advantage.
like. Yep. Well, a pair of 8s.
Oh.
This means something.
It must mean something too.
That doesn't mean anything. Actually, it's just a regular roll because she's wearing heavy armor, so it's an 8 regardless. I'm at disadvantage, so it ends up being just a straight up roll.
That's fair.
I suppose you're right.
So it's an 8.
You wouldn't be in heavy armor.
I'm the
Armor.
Armor.
The armor we're all wearing still puts you at
Okay.
It
disadvantage.
still puts it at a disadvantage. It's not
Even
heavy
if it's
armor.
medium. Yeah.
It's scale mail is medium armor.
Yeah.
It puts me at disadvantage.
So you roll an 8.
Yeah.
That was easy to deconflict.
Yeah.
Plus your stat is a what?
0.
Oh, okay.
I rolled an 8.
You rolled an 8. So you continue up. How close are you wanting to get? Out of 200 meters, how much do you want to cover?
Yeah, so about I want to stay 120 feet away.
Okay.
So
40 meters.
Zoe's not still in here, is she?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I like her.
I hate her.
Do you like either of them?
we're talking.
I love Luna.
We're
Oh,
talking
okay.
about
Just-
the
just
dog
yours.
that you
Yeah.
can't see on camera. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Is that kid still in here? I hate her. That's terrible.
Dad of the year.
She got out of the cage somehow.
That's terrible. Feed her a piece of leftovers. Get her out of here. Give her a cheese ball.
So as you are starting to close in, roll a perception check.
Yep. That's a 12-sided dice.
It's the Feywild.
Oh, that's
11.
An 11. So
And not only is it 12-sided dice, but I rolled a 1 to 12-sided dice.
Just as bad as it
I
gets.
was like, this looks weird. But yeah.
as you're approaching, you're trying to be quiet. The hooded figure you see is like ruffling through the body as you're getting to within about 100 feet.
It's Mark Ruffalo.
You see.
It's Mark Ruffalo.
It's ruffling.
You see that it grabs what looks like a book and is standing up looking at it.
Can you just see a figure in a cloak? That's all I can see. How far back is my party?
They're 200 meters from it. You've gone 80 meters ahead.
All right, so they're 100 or 80. Yeah, 80 meters behind me.
So we've kind of slowed our pace to let her cover.
Yeah, we came to a stop at the scary music inside of a large hooded man standing over a body, and kind of asked Sundala what's going on. She proposed going invisible, and then Glass said, "No, let me do it." Went invisible and walked ahead, but we came to a stop at that point.
So how far away am I from this person at this point? Would you say
120 meters is what you said you were gonna.
Yeah.
Go up to.
So I'm gonna just. Hello there, friend. How are you?
How loud are you saying it?
Yeah, that's far. You gotta scream, right?
I guess I'm yelling. Yeah, 120 meters. So
That's longer than a football field.
The head
Yeah,
cranes,
they're like not even gonna hear you.
cranes back, and then puts what looks to be the book it was looking at into its cloak and begins to walk in your direction of travel.
Oh, we're headed. I guess I'll bamf on visible again, and be like, "Oi, friend, how are you?"
Continues walking.
All right, so I'll just motion the
All right,
body up.
yeah, let's get caught up and just keep
He was getting a book or something off that body, and then he's walking away. So
It's walking toward you, right?
No.
the
Oh,
direction,
opposite
same
direction.
direction we're going.
where we're going.
When we get caught up, we should look at the body and see if it's anything we recognize or anybody we recognize.
What they said. I'm gonna see how it died, or if it's dead.
So
let's
roll
walk all
a
the way
medicine
to that
check
body, right?
for you, perception check for you guys.
Does the music seem to be moving as he moves away? Okay.
13.
60 medicine check.
13 perception.
Real good.
I haven't rolled over a 5 like all night.
16 medicine
Well,
check.
since
15
combat.
perception for Valkyr.
Combat
Okay.
actually had great rolls, but
7.
13.
13. So you guys come walking up. You can see that the body laying on the ground is larger than a normal humanoid, and is bald with tattoos on the face. The skin of the hue of the skin is roughly that of like what you see Jotun having. From your medicine check, you see that there are multiple contusions. Bones have been shattered, and as you look around and look up, you think very likely that it probably fell from the top of the mountain.
This thing fell from the sky, the mountain, the height. Does it have any symbols on it or anything?
You see that it's been painted up, has leather straps, on the arms, and you can see that there's blood on the knuckles as if it's been fighting. You can see that there are wounds that look like they weren't from the fall, and that they had been bandaged.
I feel like this is a fighter of some sort. We should probably catch up with that person ahead and see what's going on.
Okay.
So I'll start hustling after the person ahead.
Where did I was gonna ask where he took the book from, but we probably couldn't see from that far away.
I didn't search.
Yeah, well, I don't know that she's necessarily said anything about the book yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't mention that.
Okay.
Book. Well, no, I did. I said it was a cloaked figure. I had put something in his pocket. I didn't. That's all I said.
So seeing her kind of start to trot off, Bronson's gonna quickly check the guy's pockets and just kind of look at what he's wearing, and if he had So you said it looks like a fighter. See if he has
he's
knives
got
in his pockets type deal.
like leather breeches.
Okay.
And it looks like there's been some type of a rite of passage or some type of a gladiatorial piece. Like you've done prize fighting in the past. You know that you strip off of all your unnecessaries.
He's wearing fighting gear.
He's wearing like brawling fighting gear on him.
Okay. I'm trying to remember any details about his face so I would be able to describe him to someone later. Like if he has like a...
Roll an investigation check to see...
Like any distinguishing marks, like a scar over his eyebrow or whatever. What is it? Investigation?
Yeah.
11.
I mean, he's pretty badly
He's
beaten
beat up,
and stuff like that.
So I'll just remember his hair color and length and height and average
No,
weight
so he's
type deal.
bald.
Okay.
He has a beard and more of a goatee beard.
Okay.
It continues off to the bottom, like it traces the jowl line and comes down to a point.
Cool. I'll just remember what he looks like so that I could describe him to someone later. And he didn't have any items on him or anything?
Correct.
Okay. Cool.
Roll a d20.
15.
You guys roll a perception check.
With where I'm at ahead, do I...
Oh, that's a 90-20.
Oh, yeah.
You want Glass
Face
to
him up.
that? She's ahead, running ahead.
No. What's your flavor?
I'm going to do purple grape mash.
I respect a man who has a delectable taste.
19 for Valkyr.
The hot face classic.
That sounds like the worst invitational, Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2019 Hot Face Classic. I'm your host.
Part of the critical fail.
Cotton. What was he, like Chipper Woods or what was
Cotton
it?
Mathers or something? I can't remember what
Yeah.
his name was. Yeah.
Cotton. So, Genji, you see that Jotun has gone pale, looking down at this body at your feet.
Jotun, are you okay? Do you recognize this individual?
I think I know who this is. I think this is my brother.
What?
Whoa.
He
What happened to your brother?
He had fallen from on high in the gauntlet itself. Was pushed from the very precipice as we were reaching for the crown. Actually, both of my brothers were killed in the gauntlet itself.
How did he land here?
That I don't know. His body was never found.
We must question this individual who robbed your brother. Well, actually, I would know that.
Was I far enough ahead when he said my brother to have heard it, or?
Yeah, you would have heard that.
You're only barely
I
trying.
kind of like when he said stop. I'm like, what? Scooby Doo.
So I'll lean down.
Jinkies.
And close his eyes if they're open, and then I'm gonna take out after whoever was just here.
Fast pace?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm right behind
I'll
you.
keep
me
up
too.
with him too.
Alright, everybody give me an athletics check.
I'm gonna do a double triple take with
What?
before we take
Okay.
off.
That was
Hopefully you got.
Oh no! Does
Athletics.
anybody have an inspiration? Actually, I have an inspiration I can give you.
I do.
No, use this one. Use this savers.
This is just ridiculous.
Reroll that.
9 for Glass, 8 for
You knocked mine
Valkyr.
over a 1 too. I rolled a
Like
30.
double ones.
There we go.
I got a 9.
Total of a 20, not that.
9,
Athletics,
8.
you said?
9, 9, 8. Yeah.
Is 18.
18. So Genji and Jotun, Genji really zeroing in on Jotun being so visibly shaken by this is really focused on him. And as soon as he starts to see the pelvis spin to take off, Genji knows exactly what's about to happen. And he immediately grabs his equipment and starts sprinting with him. And the two of them take off and go zooming past Glaz as she's looking like, well, what's the rest of the party doing? Okay, you guys are coming, you got I'm going too. And her stumpy little legs are trying as best she can to keep up.
Efficiently formed legs.
Yeah, fair. I mean, if you see you in a tight spot. Quite deft.
Python, thanks for shutting up, man.
Anyway.
Enjoy it.
So you guys go sprinting off after Jotun. Give me another athletics check.
All of us?
Yes.
And
Real
just so you know-
athletic.
Just so you know, Python, Genji
He's
is
mine.
Kuehlner from TeamSpeak.
I'm Murder Burger.
That's Murder Burger, and that's
Malevolous / Gilgadoosh,
Yes.
depending on the.
22.
Oh!
Is that added 20?
No, 21 for Valkyr, 19 for Glaz.
18.
Nice. All right. So you guys are all pretty much keeping up in a straight pack, with Jotun leading the way. I need everybody to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, I'm not good at these. It's because of the
May I
magic.
have,
Yes!
21.
May I have something that doesn't suck too terribly, but it needs to punish me?
Well, that's the reward one,
Yeah, that's
right?
the reward
I feel like these two are the good ones, and respectfully,
Give me
everything
that
else
purple
is
grape.
terrible.
Oh, yeah, that one's bad, yeah.
So I rolled a 1 for Glaz, so
Dude,
she's
look at
a
that
3.
label.
She's
Isn't
a
that
3
fun?
total, and
The color?
Valkyr's got a 14.
But when it turned into having little tadpoles in it
Yes.
after pouring it in the cup,
Yep.
not a big fan of that.
It's like whenever you do Bailey's and lemon juice.
Yeah,
Horse
exactly.
juice.
Or Bailey's and literally anything.
Yeah.
Oh, Bailey's is delicious.
No, I
Hot
love
chocolate.
Bailey's. Yeah, but it's great. But like you put it in
Curdle.
anything and it
Yeah.
curdles.
19?
You're welcome.
Thanks for
Yeah.
sponsoring us, Bailey's.
That's so terrible, but it's delicious. Creamy beige. Yeah, so you guys, you're 19 on the wisdom save.
Correct.
14.
14.
7 for Glaz with a nat 1 roll, and then for Valkyr it is a 13.
22.
Damn. No, it's 21 actually. 19 plus 2.